Florida in the American. Just tell me, for the people around you and for your program now that you're in charge of, what these two games mean over the next 2 weeks to finally be in this league.
I think it's really significant for the reasons you mentioned. I mean, there's so many people that invested so much time, energy, equity, sweat equity into this process. I think there's, Bill Clark should feel very proud. This never happens unless he builds this program back from oblivion, and our athletic department, our institution, the donor base, the fan base, as much as the city. There are people that are Auburn and Alabama people, graduates that still invested in UAB football so that we could be in this moment. So we want to represent them better than we have, to be honest with you. We want to make them proud by how we enter the American. It's been a topic of conversation around here daily this week. And we definitely want to honor those that have invested so much.
You can watch the game from New Orleans if you don't happen to make the trip down there on ESPN2, 11 o'clock, UAB at Tulane. Coach, best of luck in the game. We always appreciate the time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, take care. Coach Trent Dilfer with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline presented by Legacy.
Yeah, Legacy has everyday checking right now available for teens 13 to 17 with adult sign-up. It's a great way to teach your kids how to manage their money and handle their debit card responsibly. No monthly fees, no minimum balance required, and you get paid early. Apply online in minutes today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Legacycreditunion.com/join. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
It's partially a product of how ineffective they are at running the football, like he said, but Jacob Zeno is 9th in the country in yards per game. I mean, if I told you that in the preseason, you'd have felt good about it.
Well, I'll tell you, he didn't look overwhelmed against Georgia.
He didn't.
I mean, he played well.
300 yards a game he's throwing.
He's been in big games before from his days at Baylor when he was forced into action there. And they've got a player in Zeno, and they got some talent on that roster. Next 2 weeks, Tulane and USF. Do they have a chance to win two, split them? Or do you think they're 0-2?
Oh, they're not beating Tulane.
Not beating Tulane on the road?
No. And USF is, I mean, they built on, I think, a little bit on that performance against Alabama. I mean, you could say how, what Alabama was doing. It was a scrimmage or whatever. But it seems like that kind of gave them a little pop.
Oh, did they win last week? I thought
they won 2 weeks ago, right? I was trying to find their score from last week.
Yeah, I thought they struggled coming out after Alabama. Maybe it was a close game or what. While you look that up, tell us about our friends at Odie's. It was a fun time last night. What was the question?
The question last night: what came first, Lil Wayne or Donkey Kong?
Oh, it's got to be Donkey Kong, man. Donkey Kong was the OG, man. It was the original video game I remember. I was throwing quarters into it at an ice cream.
Okay, you remember yesterday I told you Lil Wayne turned 42 years old.
Yeah,
right?
I think he's older than Donkey Kong.
I thought Donkey Kong was around in 1982.
Lil Wayne 1982, Donkey Kong 1981.
So Donkey Kong is older.
Yeah,
just not by as much as I thought.
Yeah, that's
I was close on the Donkey Kong age, just out of memory there.
Some of the knowledge you learn at Odie's Team Trivia every Wednesday night, the original Crestline Village. There's a new location at Homewood right there on Oxmoor Road off of Broadway. Stop in. Great food from Rodney Davis, award-winning wings, delicious burgers, fantastic sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Stop in. See Will Haver and that great staff, Odie's Tavern.
42-29, they beat Rice last week, and they're at Navy this week, USF is. So, yeah, they bounced back a little bit from that Bama.
All right. When we come back, we're not going anywhere. Top of the hour here in about 50 seconds, you will get Unlocked with Lance and Brock Heward, where you guys discuss several things, including what true love really is.
What true love is, a colorblind quarterback in the NFL, and how Dan Marino has achieved one of the 100 greatest cabs in the world.
Cabs, not as in old school taxi, but in the great wine. All that's coming up in 30 seconds. Unlocked. Don't forget tonight, 5 to 7, Bud Light Game Night, Overtime Bar and Grill, 5 to 7. Come by, get that QR code shot. And you got a chance to win Iron Bowl tickets at the end of the year thanks to our friends at Bud Light. Overtime Bar and Grill off of I-65 and Lakeshore. Throw it into the Waze and GPS and get there and watch us. I'm about to record another Talk of Champions with Tyler Watts. That'll be up later today at Disrupt the Media. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show now on a Friday as we get going. Looking forward to our Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3, which you can get at nextroundlive.com. Nextroundlive.com. It is up and playing over 100 winners last week. Got a ball in the bucket. More times you win, better chance of winning at the end of the year. The big prize we'll give away with our Pick 3, brought to you by the great folks at Buffalo Wild Wings. All those great locations. We'll jump into that knee deep coming up in the next segment. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Rockstar, Forrester, Tyler, Lunsford, Taylor, Corn, and EG out in the command center as we get going today. LT last night. We had the Cardiac Cox did it again. From Jacksonville State, 35-28 in overtime. They beat Sam Houston. Sam Houston led the whole game. Patrick Mahomes has the most amazing drive ending of all time. I think they went like 50 yards in 15 seconds in the playoffs or survived that year. But last night, 75 yards, 8 plays under 1 minute to get a touchdown. Then a 2-point conversion to force the overtime. And then very quickly in overtime, you get the ball first and you throw a touchdown. Then you play defense and you win the game. That's about as up to the cliff without falling off the edge Jack State could go without losing.
Yeah, I mean, up 28-14 in the fourth quarter, and you end up losing that game at home. And now the Bearcats with a K are 0-4.
Sam Houston State. Is 0-4 now. But Jack State,
but I'm saying
they dominated.
Yeah, I was saying the Bearcats of Sam Houston are 0-4. But yeah, Jack State dominated the fourth quarter, and then they won the game in overtime. Man, it was a dramatic game. Brown Bandit said there was going to be no points.
No points, man. What happened?
It ended up being semi-shootout based on what that total was. I mean, Jack State almost covered the total by themselves. But that's a nice win for Jack State, and I think they finally found their quarterback. I mean, Smothers looks like a guy that at least can complete a pass.
They made a really good throw on that 2-point conversion. I don't know how much you guys watched the game, but you know what killed Sam Houston, the Bearcats of the K? They went to the prevent offense.
Yeah, well, that's the only way you can get 8 plays, as I said, in 75 yards in less than a minute. That's the only way you can allow that to happen.
Yeah, the prevent defense. No, I'm saying Dunaway, they went to the prevent offense. Yeah. So when they started the half, they had the lead, and they just start trying to bleed clock and play slow and deliberate. They ran a lot. They ran the play clock down.
They only missed by 58 seconds.
I know. They almost worked.
You know, it's one of those you got to play loose, especially at 0-3.
Well, I mean, it's what,
and they turned Jack State over 3 times.
Yeah.
You know, to be up 14 in the fourth quarter, to turn a team over 3 times on the road, at home you got to win that game.
They these coaches sometimes though they blow me away. Like all this stuff that worked in the first half, we're just going to flush it in the second half. We're going to try to bleed clock now.
Yeah. Well, Rich Rod had the greatest opening line of a news conference ever. He started with, "Were you not entertained?"
Very Maximus.
Yes.
I got to be honest, it was on a side TV, so I was doing this, but I was more focused on Detroit.
Yeah.
We did have Detroit at Lance's Like Icon.
Was not entertained by that.
Let's get right to that. But Jack State wins. Western Kentucky beat Middle Tennessee. Jack State plays Middle Tennessee next Wednesday night as Conference USA gets some of the Maction-like TV windows next Wednesday night. ESPNU again, Jack State on national TV next week. Let's jump into what we saw in the NFL and our Michelson look back to the Lions' big win, LT.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made over 2 decades ago. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. Went in to see Dr. Mark Michelson, who's a pioneer in the LASIK business. First to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. Got the procedure done. I've got 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or online, michelsonlaservision.com.
And later, when you may be thinking about lunch and you're driving by one of the great locations of Milo's as well, think about that classic burger, swing by there. And if that's not enough for you, download that Milo's app. And after your first purchase, you get the original cheeseburger for free. Free is good. Stuff your face, earn free stuff. Download the Milo's app today and start earning rewards. We had a little side stake bet going over 1.5. Ends up being 1.5 on the nose for Aiden Hutchinson. But that was the story of the game last night was how the Packers cannot give Jordan Love any protection at all. Or is the Lions pass rush that good?
So did y'all push that?
I didn't think we pushed it. I thought I won it.
It was a 1.5.
Yeah, you got credit for half a sack. Yeah, you got credit for half a sack.
We'll go back and I know that, but we'll go back and listen to it. But you said he was going to have 2 sacks.
Yeah. Whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter.
No, I do think it got dialed back to 1.5 in the discussion.
But that's,
we can check it. It's fine.
It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to check it. We'll just give it to you.
No, it's fine. But Green Bay's had a problem. I mean, back-to-back weeks they've been down 17 points at the half, or 17 plus points. And Jordan Love just didn't look comfortable in the first half. But you got to give Detroit a lot of credit. I mean, they are able to get after the quarterback. They ran the football at will. I didn't think David Montgomery was going to play. He didn't play last week against Atlanta. Thought this was going to be Jahmyr Gibbs' game. And Green Bay knew what was coming, and they couldn't stop the run.
Yeah, but that Lions pass rush puts him in the conversation to me with the style of pressure that San Francisco can bring after somebody. The Eagles obviously are a talented team. The Lions look like they could be in that conversation to contend in the NFC because of what they have on that front line. Aiden Hutchinson's the real deal. I didn't think he was going to be that dominant coming out of Michigan, but he is hard to break. And the way he's never, sometimes his hands are dirt, but a lot of times he's just roaming around, just waiting before the snap to find a slot to rush.
This current conversation should tip off my answer here. But Daniel Jeremiah and DJ Football this week said, do you know the college whose former players have the most sacks currently in the NFL?
Well, now I'm going to say Michigan.
I mean, would you have said that before, though? I mean, I don't know if you would have thought about
probably
that.
Not. I don't know where I would have gone on that.
Yeah, but and his point was he thinks that's why the worm has turned a little bit in that rivalry.
Yeah,
is that Jim Harbaugh has recruited better up front defensively.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah. That
seems to be the difference, is that Michigan has gotten more physical than Ohio State. Not to sound like Lou Holtz in the trenches. It is almost Georgia-esque what they're doing in Ann Arbor on the offensive and defensive lines. But I didn't think that would translate to what he's able to do in the NFL. But you're seeing that from the Georgia kids, too, for the Eagles. I mean, they're dominating.
I heard somebody today say that the best player on the Eagles isn't Jalen Hurts. It's Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
I kind of agree.
And
the way he played the other night.
3 games into his career, it's pretty amazing. But Detroit, I mean, with the way they run the football now, with how physical they are, the ability to get after quarterback, 5 sacks last night, this actually travels. And we saw it week 1 against Kansas City. I know Kelsey wasn't playing and Jones wasn't playing. But still, to beat them in Arrowhead and now to go on the road and to beat Green Bay and beat Green Bay soundly. I mean, that was an impressive win. I don't think there's any doubt right now. Minnesota has got no wins. Chicago's got 1 win, but they're awful. Green Bay, as shaky as they look right now, and I know they're banged up, it looks like this is Detroit's division.
Yeah, I mean, Rockstar, I got to say, man, I think your team's finally going to win that division.
Well, the division, yeah, that'd be great. But after that, I don't think we're.
I don't know. I mean, in the NFC, I mean, obviously,
baby steps.
Philadelphia and San Francisco are really good, but I mean,
Jared Goff came out, and I remember watching him. The last loss he had at Lambeau was as a Ram in the divisional playoffs in 2000. I think it was 2020. And he looked scared. He had a banged-up thumb in that one, but now he's coming out and saying, look, we can beat anybody. We're not afraid of anybody. And he's playing loose. He threw a pick last night, but Jared Goff's been really good the last couple of years.
And do you have faith Jordan Love could lead a team to win the division? I mean, I know he started better than everybody thought, but...
Yeah, I would tell you this. I watched them, and I don't think they have a Jordan Love problem. I watched them. I think they got and we knew going in. I mean, Orlovsky told us going in that they were missing a couple of O-linemen.
Yep.
And in the NFL, especially when you're playing a team like the Lions, that's not good. I'm not sure their running back.
Aaron Jones is not 100%.
Not 100%. And I'm not sure their receivers, rise to the top half of the NFC as far as quality receivers. So I'm not sure it's a Jordan Love problem. I just think it's a team problem. The Lions have built a team, man. They're all over the place. Their secondary's good. Their linebackers are good. Yep. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball.
Look, in the NFL, you're always a quarterback injury away from being average. So we don't even have to say that. I say that. The 49ers weren't. But so we don't even really have to say if Jared Goff stays healthy. I think that goes without saying for almost any NFL team. This is a team that should win that division.
Well, I think right now, Brad Holmes is your executive of the year. This is a guy that worked under Les Snead at the Rams, and I think Detroit fans were so upset when Stafford left and they got Jared Goff. And look, Stafford won a Super Bowl, and Stafford looks good early on this year, but you could say this is kind of a push.
It's one of those rare trades where I think both sides won.
Yeah, well, and Detroit really wins when you start to look at the draft picks they got, because I'm pretty sure that Aiden Hutchinson was the Rams pick.
I think it might have been.
Yeah, and you've got these other weapons like Sam Laporta, who's a rookie tight end out of Iowa. He's getting really comfortable in this offense. Again, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ben Johnson hasn't really figured out how he wants to use him, but when you figure out Gibbs and Montgomery in that backfield, and you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown on the perimeter, this is a dangerous team, man. They got a good offensive line, too.
Really entertaining prime game last night on Thursday night. We'll do our Redmont Take a Shot of Reality right here, brought to you by our friends at Redmont. Forrester has something he just texted me. He's got it queued up. We'll need a Lunsford comment before we get to this. Tell us about our friends at Redmont.
Look, it's a great product. Especially, speaking of shots, the place we stumbled into last night, there are some bars that are just, they're shot havens.
Right.
And everybody in that bar wants to do shots. And that was what we saw last night at overtime.
Yeah. They wanted to pass them to us, too, didn't they?
Boy, they did. And that's one of the things I try not to do anymore, but I felt obligated to do a few there.
Well, I mean, what's the courtesy there? Rockstar, what do you're not a drinker, but is it common courtesy if somebody sends us a shot that we should have to take it, right?
I mean, if you drink.
Yeah, I don't drink, and I always get the most beat up faces when somebody brings me a shot. It's like, man, you can give it some. Thank you, I appreciate the offer. I don't drink.
Yeah,
I'm just like so dejected, like you're not gonna have this. And it's like, you didn't ask.
I'll turn down friends, but I'm not going to turn down a stranger.
Well,
if that
I
makes
turned down
any
a
sense.
stranger last night, but Lance drank mine, so it didn't go unused.
As long as it gets consumed.
It got consumed, but I mean, I didn't know what it tasted like.
But you know what? Nobody's going to pass up a shot of Redmont vodka.
Yeah, not Redmont vodka.
Times distilled, gluten-free. We're going to see our friends from Redmont this weekend down in Auburn. If you're out there, they're going to have a tent, I think, outside of the Coliseum. So drop by, see them, tell them you heard about them on the next round. But pick up a bottle for your tailgate this week. It's available. 22 states right now. It's Redmont vodka.
I think Charles is volunteering some Redmont for the next baptism, right? If they run out of water, just dip them in Redmont.
And remember, he's put us on a...
it baptizes good, don't it?
Me and Chuck are on a pitch count tonight.
That's what I've heard.
So we get a fifth each. That's it for Friday night.
Yeah, for Friday night until midnight. Then it's Saturday morning on my scorebook. So I'm setting post Bud Light game night last night. And thank you, by the way, to the Overtime Bar and Grill. Just a wonderful crowd, and we appreciate
cool place.
Erica, I believe, and a couple other great folks who come by and said hi. Nick Johnson from JohnsonRVCenter.com.
What a
came
surprise!
down.
Yeah.
He was in the area for a soccer tournament. He swung by. So good to see Nick and his kids and his kids' friends and his kids' friends' teammates and all those people that swung by last night. So it was fantastic. We appreciate all of you coming out and those of you that scanned the QR code to jump in. And the wonderful folks from Adams Beverage who just are so professional at what they do, setting up things, great posters and everything last night. So thank you for Bud Light game night. But we're there. So afterwards, we run to grab a little dinner closer to our house, because we wanted to have a cocktail or two. We wanted to be close to our house. So we get there, and I let the guys know, hey, where you guys have picked to go to dinner, we can't see the NFL game. They do not have Prime on. But we do have Clay Chalkwell Thompson on, and Thompson's up 13-0. Now, I was told yesterday was it an easy win for Thompson? Is that what I was told?
I did not say it was an easy win for Thompson.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, Lunsford.
I absolutely did not say that.
The old Lunsford landmine.
The game came down to a 4th and 2 stop on the goal line last year, and I said the same thing was going to happen this year. It just happened to go the other way.
So it was 13-0. Thompson was up, my alma mater. But they didn't win. I mean, I turned it off. I mean, 13-0. I thought it was over.
Yeah. When does Thompson blow a 13-0
So when I got
lead,
home,
though?
I did not watch it. What happened?
Well, they got up 13-0. The entire first quarter was Thompson. The entire second quarter was Clay. It was 14-13 at halftime. They blocked an extra point because the play before the touchdown, Thompson's starting left tackle went out, and starting left tackle going out does not do well when you're playing the athletes that they have. And third quarter, 13-0 again. Thompson was up 26-14 going into the fourth, but Jalen Mbakwe, 5-star dude who's going to Alabama, absolute stud, and the entire team is just full of athletes. They have a left there. Well, it's left and right. He switches based on which side they're going to run to. Jaquan McCroy, who's going to Oregon.
Whoa. So they tell you where they're running and you still couldn't stop them?
Pretty much.
Is that not a tip?
Yeah. Look, literally in the second quarter, they got it 1st and goal at the 4. They stacked up to the right side and just ran to the right 4 straight times and got like 1 yard at a time and eventually got it in on 4th and goal at the 1.
Jeez.
I mean, that's literally what they did. It's just like, I'm going to pound it and pound it and pound it with better athletes than you have the entire
More
time.
teams need to do that, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, there are 4 or 5 different people in the chat room instantly who watched the game and said it was electric. It was on ESPN2. As Brownie pointed out, a better slot on the program dial than Jack State had on ESPNU.
That's amazing.
It's absolutely true, though.
So the nation saw an electric game.
Yes.
And the big commit who's going to Alabama was a stud. What's his name?
Jalen Mbakwe.
Is he playing quarterback at Alabama?
He's playing cornerback.
Corner,
I think, at Alabama.
okay,
He's
yeah.
listed as defensive back on ESPN Athlete other
Gotcha.
places.
So he's an athlete,
Yeah.
likely defensive back at Alabama, 5-star guy.
Yeah, because he came in because they got up by 10, and so Thompson was in that we got to heave it up and pray at the end of the game. They got up 36-26, and so he came in at defensive back and played against Thompson's tall receiver. Was okay, did get burned on a play. Then Thompson ended up scoring with like 30 seconds left, made it a 3-point game, got an onside kick, drove down to be able to kick the field goal, and they missed the field goal.
Oh, missed the field goal.
Yeah,
Oh, I
working
didn't know
special
that. I missed that
teams,
part of the
43-yard
story.
field goal,
Need
just
us-
a little to the left.
I saw it. It's pretty close.
Damn
Kid.
high school kickers.
I know. Hey, so Clay Chalfant, though, they're 6A, right, Lines?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Clay
man.
and Saraland are the 2 best teams in the state.
No,
I already
regardless of
knew-
classification.
I already knew Saraland was better than Thompson, but Clay now has proven it as well. They're the top 2.
Hunter says the Thompson onside kick was perfect. Same guy who kicks the field goal, kicks the onside kick.
Yeah, as much as
how good is
people
that?
might want to beat him up or he wants to beat himself up, he was phenomenal on that onside kick. It was perfect, right over Mbakwe's head.
Yeah.
To get it back.
Yeah, that's what's amazing in these NFL guys. I think the recovery percentage is like 7%.
Yeah, you can't get them at all.
And these guys, that's all they do in practice is
I
practice 2 things: kicking field goals, kicking onside
Yeah.
kicks.
Yeah. Jay Price says, if you think this is the same school that Jim went to, you're not paying attention. Oh, there's no doubt. We were a country school.
You were there in '82, weren't you?
Yeah.
They won
I
the
was.
championship.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I know.
it's similar.
Yeah. We did it differently.
Okay.
Y'all would have never lost to Clay Chalkville.
That's right.
Clay Chalfant
Clay
didn't
Chalfant didn't
exist.
Exactly, yes.
But
It's a bold
Mbakwe,
statement.
is that how you say his name? Mbakwe? This is him last night. Oh, he's Peyton Manning it up.
Oh,
He's
no.
leading the band on Thompson. This is
Hey.
from our friends at
Hey.
ABC 30 through 40.
Not to throw shade on him, but last week Trent Seaborn, the quarterback for Thompson, got in the band and played saxophone with him. So a little better
One
than,
bender
than
got
just
tased. So top it out.
Yeah, I would be
Got to be careful.
head on a swivel.
Yeah,
on that one.
cops tell you time to shut it down. Time to shut it down.
By the way, Mbakwe with that Alabama
Yeah.
towel already.
Yep.
He's got a little Derrick Henry in his face.
Can I just say that's a really slow song they're playing? Was that Amazing Grace or something there?
I would
Lawrence?
imagine it's their alma mater.
Oh, okay.
Is that what they play? Which usually are fairly slow.
Yeah, and I'm going to say he's probably not used to directing the band.
Yeah, he's pulling it off. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. I clap on the 1s and 3s.
I mean, you're basically doing that just for the photo op, right? I'm not sure Peyton Manning was, worthy of the
Just wave the hand a
Radio
little.
City Music Hall.
Well, that's a big flex.
Yeah, it is to climb the ladder and get up there. And a couple of winks at the folks. That's
Wow.
good. Hey,
Good for him, man.
Way to celebrate, man.
Yep.
As a what are we, Lunsford? 4-time defending state champs?
correct.
As a 4-time defending state champs, I love to see a little parity to make it interesting down the stretch. Is there a chance? Clay Chalfant's not even in our class.
That's what I
is
said.
it?
They're 6A.
Yeah,
Y'all
they're
won't
6A.
even-
I fully
Yeah.
expect it to be Saraland and Clay Chalfant in the Super 7, and that's a game that if you want to watch the future, like what you're going to see at Alabama and Auburn, you need to watch that one.
So Clay Chalfant and Saraland's packed with recruits.
Yeah, KJ Lacey for Saraland is a Texas commit. He's a senior, I think, this year, but Ryan Williams, Mr. Football, is an Alabama commit. He is going to be one of the greatest players ever, the way he's
Easy,
trending.
Lunsford.
Wow.
Easy.
No, I'm
Would
serious.
you give
He
him
won Mr. Football as a
$5,000 to
sophomore.
visit?
As Dunaway would have said
I'd pay
15
Ryan
years ago,
Williams
that's some
$10,000.
hyperbole right there.
That's some
my friend.
hyperbole there, dummy.
Hey, I will tell you this. Much like back in the day when Alabama lost was the only way it made it on 60 Minutes or Nightly News or the Today Show.
Right.
Only way high school football makes it into the first segment here is if Thompson gets upset on national television. So there you go. A little respect for the Warriors between the hills of Osalura. The show being brought to you by our friends at NASCAR. Race weekend is happening. It's all going on this weekend. Saturday's the truck race. Get that Sunday Yellowwood 500 ticket, and that gets you in to see Hardy Saturday night. That's worth the price of admission right there. And then you stack on that a playoff race on Sunday at the world's fastest speedway. Just go to TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com to get your tickets. And we will enjoy great racing at Talladega, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Tonight in college football is a really, really good night of college football as far as Fridays go. Louisville and NC State. Louisville is unbeaten. Some of us think that maybe there's a chance that NC State can win this game in Raleigh.
Look, I will have a play on this game. Louisville is 4-0, but they've beaten they haven't beaten anybody, really. I mean, their best game they played was last week against BC, where they couldn't be stopped offensively. Jeff Brom, Jake Plummer, they're getting on the same page, but more so, they've been running the football effectively. They've got almost 1,000 yards on the ground. They're averaging 6 yards per carry right now. And on the other side, NC State just hasn't found their offense. They're 3-1. Brendan Armstrong's a quarterback that's got a ton of experience. They've got to stop turning the football over. I think it should be a hell of a game, though.
That's 6 o'clock ESPN. And then 2 good ones later in the night. 8 o'clock, Utah and Oregon State. Utah just can't score enough points. They had 14 last week, but 7 of those were from the defense, 7 from the offense. You look at the number at mybookie.ag, and the number's telling you again, Cam Rising ain't playing again.
Yeah, it hovered around 2.5. It's gone to 4.5 for the Beavers. So it looks like he will not play in this game. So the pressure is going to be on Nate Johnson. And this is a guy that's really athletic. Ball security was not great last weekend. The offense was just bad. But Utah's defense is that good. Utah's defense right now giving up 51 yards per game on the ground. They're only giving up 9.5 points per game. But on the other side, the Beavers have a really good offensive line. They got a two-back attack with Damian Martinez and Deshaun Fenwick, and they also play great defense. They're only allowing 70 yards per game on the ground. This might be one of those games that ends up being, you said lack of points. I'm not giving away a total here, but just looking at these two teams play, this thing plays out 17-14, I wouldn't be surprised.
DJU's last 2 games, San Diego State and Washington State.
Was he wearing Clemson orange?
He looked like a Jimmy D.
By the way, the 2 best defenses he's played yet so far, and this will be the best defense he's played.
31 of 64, 382 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, and that's not an average. That's 2 games combined.
Yeah, that's losing football right there is what that is. Yeah. 482 yards.
That's what we saw in
482 yards. Yeah.
That's what we saw in Clemson.
No, he's become Clemson DJ again the last 2 games.
Yeah, I think the main reason the Pac-12 is dissolving is because of the television contract. But you guys also brought up the lack of fans. But for whatever reason, some of these venues have become really difficult places to play in. Even Corvallis. They've won 13 of their last 14 in Corvallis.
Well, this will be the biggest game in their new stadium. I can't wait to see it tonight. FS1, 8 o'clock, their remodeled stadium, and how it looks on national TV. Big lights. Utah is a playoff contender. They sit currently in the national rankings. Where do you find Utah?
Right around the top 10, yeah.
Number 10, and 19 Oregon State after their loss last week. And then late night, my buddy Lauren Sisler has this game in Provo, Cincinnati and BYU. You speaking of can't score points, Cincinnati has gone 14 straight possessions without scoring a touchdown. Oklahoma really made it complicated for their offense by playing a disruptive defense. BYU brings that type of style of defense. They are aggressive defensively.
BYU's coming off their first loss. Understandably, it was at Kansas. Kansas is a really good team if you haven't watched them. Keaton Slovis is starting to find his groove a little bit. Kalani Sitake said, we haven't played our best game yet. With all that said, Cincinnati defensively threw Oklahoma off their game last week. Oklahoma came in averaging 55 points. They only scored 20 in the 20-6 win. But you're right. Right now with Emory Jones at quarterback, the Cincinnati offense isn't good. I kind of lean Cincinnati in this game right now. But I'm not sure I'm going to play it. BYU is one of my Calcutta teams, so I want to pull for BYU.
It's kind of, to Dunaway, I think Dunaway groaned because you would think it's kind of hard to go to the window with that offensive performance and say, give me some Cincinnati, right?
That's right. What's the point spread, mybookie.ag on this one?
Since he's -1.
-1?
Since he's giving points in Provo?
Yeah.
LeBron's giving points?
Here's how it works.
In Indianapolis?
Good news is, Dunaway, you want the good news on that?
Yeah.
Your initial deposit at MyBookieAG, they give you 110% sign-on bonus, so it's free money you're playing with right there.
Free money
That's
right
when
there.
you use code next round, of course.
Yeah, mybookie.ag. All right, so there you go. That is a little football tonight. That's a good Friday night slate.
Oh, yeah,
You guys
really
can,
good.
You can moan about whatever you want to moan about, but that's a good Friday night slate right there.
Rabble.
Louisville's unbeaten on the road. They'll be tested. Utah's on the road. They'll be tested. And Cincinnati and BYU's just a good venue, good game.
You've got 4 games. The highest point spread in any of the 4 is Oregon State, now up to 4 at mybookie.ag. Everything is 4 below. So, I mean,
what's the fourth game? I didn't put it on my sheet.
La Tech at UTEP. Was that the one you missed?
Yeah, UTEP's a 1-point favorite.
UTEP's a 1-point favorite. I'm just saying. I mean, you got 4 games that Vegas says should play close. I know you've got limited space. I don't blame you for leaving off La Tech.
I went from 6 columns to 5.
I got you.
Just to make it a better view.
The one thing you'll never hear me say, Dunaway.
Yeah.
The one thing you'll never hear me say, Jim, You left off La Tech and UTEP on the sheet there. I need you to reprint it.
I just didn't think
The
we'd bring
thing
it up.
is, if Cam Rising, and again, he practiced all week and split time with Nate Johnson with the ones. If he comes out and he is named the starter at game time, that number probably drops to a pick.
Yeah.
Stan, it is TNR 20. That's what, Cheese, it is TNR 20. That's what he's asking on Roback.com.
Correct.
Roback.com to get your great golfing gear, hats, hoodies. Anybody got a hoodie on today? Rockstar does. Give me a Rockstar. Got the good hoodie. It's that time of year. You see the lab. That's the logo there. Coach O would help you. It would say,
Roback.
Go Roback. Roback.com. Roback.com gets you 20% off with the code TNR. TNR20 is the promo code. TNR20 is the promo code for that 20% off. Roback.com. All right. Off and rolling here. We'll get to our pick 3 in the next segment. Brownie, go ahead and tell us about our friends at MyBookie.
Jimmy D, I just mentioned it to you. MyBookie.ag has got that sign-on bonus this week. Jim just told you 4 football games tonight. A full slate Saturday, Sunday, and Monday Night Football. You can play them all right there at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, mybookie.ag. Why now? Well, right now with code NEXTROUND, this is a special they've been running this week. They give you a 110% sign-on bonus. That is literally free money. You make your initial deposit. They give you a sign-on bonus 110% at mybookie.ag. That is when you use code NEXTROUND. There is no guarantee this continues after this week. I'd love to be able to tell you it does, but I don't know. But MyBookie says thank you to the Next Round listeners and viewers. We are going to give you a discount. That is when you use code NEXTROUND at mybookie.ag. A sign-on bonus of 110%. Good to use it this weekend. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
You hear a lot of interesting phrases while playing golf, like, I think you're on the beach, or the classic, you gotta hit it, Alice. One word you're sure to hear right now at Bentbrook Golf Club is wow. Brand new carts with complimentary GPS and the bent grass greens are so consistent you just might drain a few more putts, Alice. Tee it up and find out for yourself. Book around today at bentbrook.com or call 428-1999. It's better at Bentbrook.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pests, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight, because we got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast like Bama and Bourbon, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Guess I'll try that out. Haunted house night for me.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. So we're streaming this live?
We're going to try, yeah. I mean, I don't know about the internet connection inside a haunted house.
Yeah.
I mean,
one thing about our haunted house, we have the greatest Wi-Fi. Is it Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
So
Warehouse 31 in Pelham. Warehouse 31 in Pelham. We're going to be there. I think it opens at sunset or 7 o'clock or something like that. We're going to try to do it before the general public gets in there. We're going to warm up the ghouls and the goblins for you and try to roll through there. No little T with me this year. It'll be Shelby and me from Blakely's Bouquet, and we're going to try to do that tonight, blakeleysbouquets.com. And we're going to stream it live on our Next Round platforms. As far as the connection will hold up until the extraterrestrial and the afterworld gets after our connection deep into the bowels of Warehouse 31.
I look forward to this.
I don't. I hate them.
You last year you let out a few screams.
I hate them. I know.
I hated them as a kid.
Oh, I can't stand them. Cannot stand them to this date. But
that's one of those things you don't do until it's dark, right? Like there are certain things you do in the light, certain things you do in the dark. A haunted house is one thing you do in the dark.
Yeah.
Unless you're different.
Unless you're different.
6:45 doing it at sunset tonight. Jay Price, is Jim going to use that woman as a shield again? 100%.
100%.
She literally, she said I pulled her hair out last year.
Yeah, you can.
And not in a good way.
Well, I believe it.
Yikes. That would have been a haunted house.
Haunted too.
You came back with you came
Just
back
don't
with
choke her this time.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot stand them. I don't even know why I'm doing it again. That's how much I like Kelsey. She's like, hey, will you do it again? Yeah, I'll do it again. I don't like it. I would worry about it. Ever since she told me, she waited until the last moment to tell me because she knew I worry about it every second.
So she told you this week and you worried
I think
about
it was last week.
Scott is showing us some video from last time.
Squeeze down video. I'm usually, that is up my nose.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not that squatty body either. Shelby and I are taller.
Yeah.
I love Shelby's shirt.
Yeah, Fade Dunaway.
Yeah.
And I have a Fade Shelby shirt. I should wear that.
Well, look at that thing jump out.
Yeah.
Do you remember the time, Dunaway, you and I can't remember which haunted house it was, but they advertised with us in the radio days, and they invited me and Dunaway out. I think you were invited too, but you couldn't go. You were out of town or something, and they gave us a tour of the haunted house, and then we got to go back into the security area where they've got all the night vision cameras, and you can watch people walking up, and they have no earthly idea they're about to get the you-know-what scared out of them, but you could see the people's the jump scare about to happen.
Yeah.
It is so funny to watch because they're just creeping along, and I mean, they are almost face-to-face with the one that's about to jump out and scare them, and they have no idea.
I think it is fascinating, some of these haunted houses. We did a piece in Trash a couple of years ago, McCamey Manor, right?
Yep.
It's the one, I think it's San Diego.
Yeah, people wanted us to do that as a bracket payoff.
Yeah, where you actually got to fill out.
You got to sign a waiver.
You got to sign a huge waiver, and it's one of those things. I think it's basically a mental torture for like 24 hours. They've got one in Tennessee too,
and they're able to touch you.
I went to
able to physically touch you.
Yeah, I went to high school. So in Jacksonville, which was not too far from Saks, there was a haunted forest. I don't know if you guys ever had a haunted forest near you when you were growing up. But
we had that hayride sometimes in what was called a haunted forest.
It was just kind of
really
a wooded area where, they kind of did a little maze through there. And I went to high school with a guy that punched one of the jump scares. Like the guy jumped out and scared him, and he slugged him right in the face.
Yeah. Little T was some of the more enjoyable parts last year because she was walking backwards filming the wide shot. And she was as scared as I was.
Well, I would imagine.
Yeah. And Tyler is replacing Little T this year. So our other Little T. Is that right, Tyler? You're a camera person tonight?
Oh.
Yeah, he can't hear. Well, wait till you hear me scream tonight.
Wait till you find out what you're doing.
I can't hear afterwards. So there you go. There you go. That's tonight. Warehouse 31 right there in Pelham. Thanks to our friends at blakeleysbouquets.com bringing us that enjoyment again tonight. Thank you, Shelby and company. Let's jump into the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Tell us about that, LT, and then we'll hear the song and talk some college football.
11 Central Alabama locations, including the new Buffalo Wild Wings Go location in Vestavia. They've been the number one sports bar in Birmingham for now over 20 years. Wall-to-wall TVs, all locations remodeled. 26 sauces and seasonings, along with a full menu of great burgers, wraps, salads. Get in this weekend to one of those great locations of Buffalo Wild Wings.
3, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
And you can go play the Pick 3 right now at nextroundlive.com. Nextroundlive.com, just look for that big Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3 and jump in there. Pick the games you want to play. Over 100 winners last week, so it's been over 50, over 40, over 50, now over 100. So you guys are getting darn good at this. Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3. Early window where we'll start. You have Penn State Northwestern, South Alabama, James Madison, UAB, Tulane, all on your TV. But 4 really good games involving some undefeated teams and some playoff contenders and some championship conference contenders. Let's go nationally first, USC and Colorado. The stat I want you guys to talk to me about and see if Colorado can overcome this is Shedeur Sanders has been sacked 22 times, which is number 1 in the country. USC has 16 sacks, which is top 5 in the country. Those two don't mix together in a positive way for Colorado.
Yeah, they don't. And the fact that right now Caleb Williams is not turning the football over. You know, Colorado, if you're a 20-plus dog, you've got to win the turnover battle. And I just don't see that happening, especially with the pressure that USC applies. Again, they didn't tackle well. They missed some assignments last week against Arizona State. I think they will be overhyped for this game. Colorado is not a great team by any means, but the brand means something, and they know people are watching.
You know I was wrong about this last night when I told you, Dunaway, that Jacksonville State was number 11 in scoring defense and Sam Houston was dead last in scoring offense. Okay? I'm going to do this again. USC is number 1 in the country in scoring offense with 55 points a game. Colorado is number 117 in the nation scoring defense, 33 points a game.
Okay, let's
you do the math.
Yeah, let's do this. Okay, I'm going to say over a number, and you stop me where you feel comfortable of playing the under, okay?
So wait a minute, is this USC points or this is just
Colorado
total
combined
score?
in the game?
Total score, okay.
Because, I mean, you can't just talk about USC's offense and Colorado's defense. You got to talk a little bit about USC's defense, which is not always great.
I do think it's better than last year's, though.
Over 50.
Oh.
You feel under?
Yeah.
Over 60?
Yes.
Over 70?
Yes.
Does the game get into the 80s?
It's between 70 and 80. I mean, the total's 73.5 right now. That's about right.
Yeah. I would say in the 70s.
Yeah, I think it plays like 55 to 24.
Yeah.
I think it's something like that.
So no 66-44.
I don't think you're going to get that, but it wouldn't blow me away either.
It's going to surprise me if I think USC, and I've said this before, I think USC's defense will come to play. I still think they'll give up 21 to 24 because it's not a dominant defense. I just hope Shedeur Sanders, and I'm not saying this for effect, I really hope he can survive the season.
Well,
you can't take that many, not only the 22 sacks, you can't take the hits he's taking right now.
But imagine how many sacks he'd have if he weren't mobile. I mean, he can run.
Yep.
And he's had how many you said? 22?
22 official sacks. So he's been tackled with the ball 22 times, not counting the times he's been hit throwing.
Yeah. And the other side of this, too, is I don't know Shiloh Sanders' status. This is a kid that was in the hospital earlier this week because he was pissing blood. So, the likelihood of him playing in this game has to be quite low. If they're without Hunter and Shiloh Sanders in that secondary, there's no telling what Caleb Williams will do to that secondary.
Go ahead. And I was just going to say, and the go-to, they get out, they go out and they get arguably the best returning receiver in the Pac-12 in Dorian Singer, and he hasn't been that go-to guy. It's actually been Jerry Rice's kid. Brendan Rice has been really good. And after the first week, Zachariah Branch, the true freshman, everybody was like, watch out for this kid. And he's been good, especially in the return game. But their go-to receiver has been Brendan Rice.
Yeah, which is a very comfortable name for football fans to see Rice catching the football there. By the way, Travis Hunter on his social media platform, you can go see a sit-down interview between him and Hunter Blackburn, the Colorado State kid, who had the late hit that lacerated his liver, and they have a good conversation there about moving past situations like that, not only in football but in life. It's really a well-done thing by Travis Hunter, and you can get that on Travis Hunter's social media. accounts there. If you can go chase that down, really cool of Travis Hunter and Hunter Blackburn of Colorado State and Colorado getting together and sort of letting everybody see a little side of sportsmanship in what was a heated rivalry a couple of weeks back. More of the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3 as we go on, but I do want to tell you Lance's Lock Every Day is brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. For all your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name Birmingham's trusted since 1954. It's Hemp Hill Services. Call them now, 205-229-2090. 229-2090, or just remember the name Hemp Hill, and they bring you lanceslock.com, lanceslock.com. Brownie was trying to get you to give a number of plays you think you would have this weekend, because last week you had a number of plays. Are you settling in to 7, 8, 9, or under that?
I've got a feeling it's going to be between 7 and 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not going to be a ton of plays.
Always an odd number with you.
Yeah, I had like 21 plays a couple of weeks ago, and we brought it back to like 15. I try to have less plays, but sometimes, I don't want to strike something if I think it's good.
Yeah. So you don't. There's no limit on how many he puts out there. If he likes 7, he plays 7. If he likes 15, he plays 15. If he likes 4, he plays 4.
And again, we're transparent. We were 1-1 last night. I made the mistake of playing Middle Tennessee State. I thought their offense would play better against that heel topper defense. It didn't. 3 turnovers did us in there. We did have the Detroit Lions. That was an easy winner for you.
Easy winner. Lanceslock.com. All great pricing and details and value pricing that you can get there. Whatever fits your needs. Daily, monthly, annually, however you want to do it, you can go to lanceslock.com. Okay, other game in the morning window that I find very interesting, Texas A&M and Arkansas. And it's just a fact right now, neutral site game. Arkansas, to me, poses a bigger offensive threat than Auburn did last week. But there is potential for A&M to wreck them a little bit because the Hogs are having a problem protecting K.J. Jefferson a little bit.
They are, and I think a lot of that is Rocket Sanders not playing. That would take a lot of pressure off of K.J. Jefferson. It would take pressure off the pass protection of K.J. Jefferson. But that defense is giving up points right now for Arkansas. And I think this is an opportunity. We want to see how Max Johnson is going to react knowing he is the starting quarterback moving forward. He did a really good job in relief against Auburn last week, threw some nice – he's got touch. For a 6'6" dude, he's got touch, and he's also got athleticism. They're not going to have design runs for him, but, if there is a breakdown, he's a guy that can scramble out, get to the sticks, get 8-10 yards on one of these rollouts. I like this A&M team still. I know everybody goes back to Miami. I just think Miami's that good. So I like A&M in this spot. I probably won't play it because it's an 11 o'clock game, but I do like the Aggies here.
Jaden Daniels lit them up a little bit last week, Arkansas. So you do wonder what Max Johnson can do. On the flip side of that, you mentioned better offense, and K.J. Jefferson just has struggled a little bit this year, just to put it bluntly.
They scored a lot against LSU.
They did.
But they couldn't get any stops.
They could not stop them. But if you look at just yards per game, K.J. Jefferson is 12th in the league. And to put that in perspective, Jalen Milroe is 13th, Peyton Thorne is 14th in yards per game. So that's the neighborhood K.J. Jefferson is living in. As frustrated as fans are locally about how quarterbacks are playing in this state, that's about what you're getting out of K.J. Jefferson at Arkansas.
NASCAR quick on these last two because we got Todd Fuhrman coming up at the top of the hour. NASCAR coming back to Talladega, the world's fastest speedway, 200-plus miles per hour, bumper to bumper, door handle to door handle, except they don't have door handles. But you know what I mean, side by side as they race the world's fastest speedway in that 2.66 tri-oval, that wonderful degree banking there that you really have to crawl up to get to the top of. It's
33 degrees?
It's 33 degrees. It is just massive. You go like this, and then boom, you're sideways like this. And literally, at that speed, they can run it upside down if they wanted to. But it's that good. It's like Hot Wheels in real life. And you get Hardy in concert with your race ticket, your Sunday race ticket Saturday night, and the Yellowwood 500 playoff race on Sunday. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Clemson at Syracuse. This is we find out what Clemson is made of kind of game. And I'm not talking about X's and O's. I'm talking about in here. It's a bring your own guts game because they're 0-2 in the ACC.
That is correct.
They just lost a heartbreaking rivalry game where they probably played their best game of the year. And now what do you do at Syracuse?
Well, I don't think any of us were. I had just gotten into radio in 1998, and that's the last time they started 0-3 in the ACC. It's hard to imagine Clemson dropping to 0-3, but the problem is now you're going to the Dome to play a good Syracuse team. Not only Syracuse defensively, one of the best teams right now statistically in college football, but Garrett Schrader, the Mississippi State transfer, is a guy that can really get you with the legs. So dual threat, a lot of pressure on Clemson, and you just wonder where their heads are. They played a hell of a game last week and just couldn't close the deal against Florida State.
And then Florida and Kentucky Brown up in the Commonwealth there. I know Mark Stoops thinks the crowd will be okay. I'm leaning Florida in this game. I don't know why.
It's tough to call. I was talking about it last night in our show, Jim, that Kentucky likes to make it an ugly game. They want you to feel like you're playing the ugliest football you've played all year. That's their best chance of winning. But I think Florida kind of comes in programmed that way right now. And
Graham Mertz cannot continue to do what he's doing right now.
You mean complete 74% of his
and
passes?
you saw him against Utah, a really good defense. I think Kentucky's got a really good defense too, not to Utah's level, but right behind it.
And Florida has run it okay to support him too. I don't know. This is just
it's a tough game.
It's a tough game.
Definitely staying away from this game.
Yeah, a win at Vandy last week for Kentucky. Florida got Charlotte in a closer than expected 22-7 game. Florida's 3-1 and ranked. Kentucky's 4-0 and just outside the top 25. That's a quick look in our Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3. You can go play that all day long up to kickoff tomorrow at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. Tell us about our friends at New York Butcher Shop as we head to break here. Todd Fuhrman at the top of the hour to talk more betting lines, and Roman Harper, usually with us on Thursday. He'll be with us at 10:25 today to talk about everything going on in college football.
Now, I'm not going to be around tonight, but the last 2 Friday nights I have stopped in to see our friend Jim at the New York Butcher Shop. I've picked up some of those prime fillets, season them up with their great seasoning. 2 locations for you. The original in Cahaba Heights, one on Highway 119. Fantastic selection of wines and great desserts. Rare quality, well-done service. Get in and see Jim and the folks at the New York Butcher Shop.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
It's NBA time, Birmingham, as we hoop it up with the New Orleans Pelicans and Houston Rockets, October 12th at Legacy Arena. Single game tickets are now available. Visit birminghamsquadron.com or call 205-719-0850 for more information or to buy tickets. And the game is packed with former local players like Herb Jones and Kyra Lewis Jr. and Jabari Smith, and other superstars like Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. You can also become a Squadron season ticket holder to get complimentary tickets to this huge event right here in the Magic City. The Pelicans preseason game in Birmingham sold out last year, so get your tickets as soon as possible. Do that online at birminghamsquadron.com or by calling 205-719-0850. October 12th, it's the Pelicans and Rockets at Legacy Arena right here in Birmingham. birminghamsquadron.com.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest, or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's Fall Invader season. Hold on tight, because we got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those Fall Invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today.
Hey, our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, they also bring us Rockstar's Playhouse, which will come your way today about 11:12 Central Time, 12:12 on the East Coast. 11:12 Central Time. Rockstar's Playhouse live today, and maybe involving one of our sponsors.
What?
That's later on. 11:12 today, right here on the Next Round. But Storm Restoration Roofing is also the home of Greg from Pell City. He's the owner. He and his wife run the company. He's also the man that'll climb the ladder, get up there and inspect your roof. An eye and boot on the ground, or actually on the roof, kind of inspection. He gets up there. He checks out for loose shingles, bent shingles, the kind of stuff that causes water entry points, and water gets into that roof and just devastates your house. You don't want that to happen. That's why you need that free no-cost roof inspection. Free, no cost, no obligation. You call Greg at this number, 205-542-3531, 542-3531, or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. It is Storm Restoration Roofing. All right, we're about to do 4 downs. Football happening tonight. Baseball last night, though, the Orioles clinched. They got their 100th win, Baltimore did.
Crazy, man.
So no shame in my Tampa Bay Rays, as we won a ton of games, but 100 from the Orioles.
Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody's talking about your Rays. 97 wins. They're scoring a ton of runs. Yeah. And I had somebody ask me last night, a Braves fan, at overtime when we were there, that he was like, how is Baltimore good? And I was like, they just play great team baseball. Like, for whatever reason, they haven't gone away. Like baseball insiders like Buster thought that they would be good this year, but it's not like they've got MVP caliber players.
I bet most people couldn't name a single Baltimore player, like the average fan like me. I don't know that I could.
Nope.
I mean, seriously.
No, I've watched them play the Rays 4 times, but I can't remember any of their names.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that wild?
But they hit 1 through 9. They've got great pitching.
100-win team, and you can barely name anybody on the roster.
Crazy. So they have clinched. That means Tampa Bay, they've already clinched the best wild card spot. So those two will, Tampa will have to play that short series against a really tough team, possibly the Astros.
Then every time Buster comes on, he talks about how well the Astros are playing now. That's the scary team in the American League, obviously.
Yeah, it'll be a tough break for a 97-plus win team to have to get the Astros in a short series. But that is baseball. The Braves continue doing what the Braves do. Tough break for the Cubs, having to play the Braves right when they did. We'll see if the Cubs can try to claw back in it this weekend against their rival Milwaukee, who's already in the playoffs. All right, that's your baseball. Let's do our 4 downs. It's brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 4 great locations of Slice. By the way, in 2 weeks, so 13 days from now, Bud Light Game Night's going to be at Slice in Crestline Park.
All right.
Oh, how many nights away from now?
13, so not next Thursday, but the Thursday after. I think it's like the 12th. I don't know.
All
anyway,
right.
we're going to be out there. We'll give you more information on that. But stop into one of those great locations of Slice this weekend. Local pizza, local ingredients. They got that $75 carryout special. You get 12 of the wings, 2 of the specialty pizzas, half pan of salad. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
The ACC currently has 6 unbeaten teams through 4 weeks. The last time that happened was the SEC in 2012. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
6
the last
unbeaten.
conference duo, huh?
Okay. So Florida State, North Carolina, Miami do not play this weekend. So they will stay unbeaten.
Right.
So 3 is the minimum. How many unbeaten ACC teams are left come Saturday night at midnight? Duke plays Notre Dame. Louisville tonight against NC State. Syracuse and Clemson play each other.
I'm going to say one of those survives, and I think it's Duke.
So 4.
I think it's 1 survives.
Yeah, I think
1.
Duke survives. That's the only one. So a total of 4.
So you think Duke beats Notre Dame to get to 4. Louisville and Syracuse goes down. 4 is your answer. I will say, I'm going to say 3. I don't think any of the ones that played this weekend.
Oh, so you a clean sweep, huh?
Yeah, not point spread or anything. Just
No,
straight
just
win
straight
or
up,
loss.
yeah. Clean sweep.
Let's do second down.
Second down.
If Duke upsets Notre Dame, or if they just beat Notre Dame, do they rush the field again like they did Clemson? Yes or no?
I'd love to say, well, I mean, I really don't care if they do or don't. They probably will, but I'd love for them to just, that would be the biggest FU to Notre Dame to not rush the field. But with game day there, the excitement, those kids, they study all week, and they actually have to go to class at Duke, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's really difficult. They couldn't do what we would do. Lay on the couch, get up, cram all night for a test. So they want to blow it out. They want to let out some steam. And, I think they rush the field. And I do think right now, I think they beat Notre Dame. I think they're the better team. And I think Notre Dame is coming off such an emotional defeat.
Can I just say, I think we used to talk headset games. Duke
Elko,
coaches better than Notre Dame coaches.
Elko's a better coach than Marcus Freeman. I don't know about across the board staff.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman is a great face for the program, and I think he's going to ultimately be a really good coach. I
don't think he's an awful coach.
No, but I think if you ask our Notre Dame fans who you would rather have as your head coach, Elko is the guy.
And here's the reason they rush the field. I mean, when you were a little kid growing up in New Jersey dreaming of going to Duke, you never thought you were going to beat Notre Dame.
No.
So, I mean, and now that you get to see it with your own two eyes, you're going to rush the field.
I'm not going to be surprised if Duke's 11-1 at the end of the year. I don't think they've got the athletes to play with Florida State on the road in Tallahassee, but I think they've got winnable games all over the place.
Interesting. All right, let's do third down.
Third down.
Better shot at an upset, not to cover. This is actually to win the game. South Carolina at number 21 Tennessee, or Ole Miss hosting number 13 LSU. Better chance to win the game outright.
That's got to be Ole Miss.
It's Ole Miss.
Yeah. I don't think either happens, but I think it's got to be Ole Miss.
I mean, Vegas is begging you to take Ole Miss.
They're begging you. Are they begging you to take South Carolina too?
Yes, they are begging you. Well, they're begging you to take Tennessee.
They're begging you to take Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean, they're all over.
So they're begging you to take LSU.
Well, begging, because, I mean, the smart money is going to be all over Ole Miss. Smart money is going to be on Tennessee. I just find it hard to believe that Ole Miss is going to beat LSU, because if they do, LSU's done. Done. Yeah. We're used to Ole Miss being done at this point.
But you're telling me the better chance of the upset is Ole Miss.
It is. I mean, the number's 2.5. The other one's 14.5, 15.5. I don't know what my bookie AG's got right now on Tennessee. But, yeah, I mean, Ole Miss is still a talented team. They put so much, and we've talked about this, so much into that Alabama game every year. Now, if Lane Kiffin is going to earn his $9 million, you got to be able to tell your team, you got to be able to shake that. We still have a lot to play in front of us. If they lose this weekend, they're done as well.
Tennessee currently favored 12 in that game, to answer your question.
At mybookie.ag. One more here before we get to Ferman and talk more about the games at the top of the hour. Before we hit fourth down, Brody says Riley Leonard back to Duke in the Heisman combo if they win. Yes or no?
Yeah. I mean, he can get in the combo. I don't know that he's got a shot.
So. He doesn't have the numbers, bro.
Yeah, but if he tore it up in this game on a national stage,
maybe if he tears it up. But I just don't think that's going to be their offense moving forward. They're 4-0. He's got 2 passing touchdowns.
Rusty, it's Duke. They rush the field with game day there. Pritch Law. So is Duke better than Ohio State, LT?
No, they are not. And I know then people are going to say, well, Ohio State was fortunate to beat
you can't do
Notre
that.
Dame. You can't do that.
Yeah,
I just think Duke plays so well. They don't turn the football over. I mean, Ohio State's got a ton of athletes. Neutral site, Ohio State probably could win the game by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Duke is really good, though. They've got speed that nobody really knows about.
Niners for life. Freeman is who we'd choose. And he's a Notre Dame fan. You see with his icon there. He likes Freeman. Hit the fourth down, Rocky.
Fourth down.
Last night at the Forrester House, it looked like Auburn had won a football game. When you got a teenage daughter, sometimes you get the house rolled.
I'm convinced Forrester rolls his own house knowing his team's going to lose.
Wow.
Turn Forrester's mic on there, Rocky.
No, I am not responsible for this.
Well, it's a pretty good job, though, Scotty. Somebody got you good.
How do you get the toilet paper out?
What's the fork for there? The fork. That's it.
Yeah, so our front yard is full of forks. Apparently, forking the yard is a thing.
Forking
Sorry,
the yard.
guys, misunderstood. Somebody has a speech impediment.
Somebody told me this was a lot more fun, but okay.
Hey, we had a good moon last night, by the way.
Yeah, a harvest moon, I believe, Jimmy D.
So my question is, did you ever get rolled or rolled?
Yes and yes.
Just rolled.
Yeah, just rolled for me. I never got rolled. I was never cool enough to get rolled.
Yeah,
me too.
It says you're cool, like in your yard rolled.
Well, I mean, really. I mean, what are you gonna roll? There was
I never got my ass kicked. I wasn't cool enough to get my ass kicked.
There were no trees in the trailer park.
Wrapping around the trailer.
Yeah, but put it in the spokes. I mean, what do you do?
Let air of the tires.
What do you do? All right, that's our 4 downs right there. Brought to you by our friends at Slice. We appreciate them so much. We'll talk games with Todd Fuhrman coming up. Hey, but if you're making a tequila choice tonight or tomorrow, always drink responsibly. Don't waste your time drinking inferior tequilas. You drink the best. It's Maestro Dobel Diamante tequila. Doesn't that even sound like a high-quality tequila? Maestro. Dobel Diamante. It's a classic right there, made with 100% pure agave. They age it in aged wood barrels from the Balkan region of Eastern Europe. It's a long process that results in a pleasant contrast and a crystal clear tequila. So smooth and fantastic. It is Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila. To the desert we go in Vegas, in Ferman next.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
The extra hours of sunshine are back on the clock, and that means it's time for golf at Timberline, a short drive from Birmingham or Montgomery. Go to timberlinegc.com to book your tee times, schedule a lesson, or just drop by and use the TrackMan technology on the driving range. The course is always fun, in great shape, and you can even become a member. Get all the details at timberlinegc.com. It's time to get your golf on with our friends at Timberline.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's college football time in Alabama. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. I grew up an Alabama fan, Roll Tide, but my wife, Caroline, grew up an Auburn fan, War Eagle. But no matter who you pull for, whether it's the Lions of the University of North Alabama or the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State or any other school in between, I want to wish all the players, the coaches, and especially the fans another great college football season here in Alabama. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
The Next Round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
LT's going to tell you about Woodhouse, but Chuck Dunlap of the SEC and Chris Lowe of ESPN making a point about a rivalry that was first played in 1896, one of the longest running games by the 2 geographically closest SEC campuses, and it'll be played for the final time on an annual basis on Saturday.
And I want to get
as I was reading that, you thought briefly about it being Georgia and Auburn, the Deep South's oldest rivalry. But it's ironically, it's Alabama and Mississippi State.
That's right. Yeah, and he goes back and documents that 1980 game. And I don't know, as a kid, I would assume that you might remember that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It was on radio.
And, would love to get your thoughts on that game because obviously that's one of the biggest games in Alabama history as far as getting upset. But treat that special someone to the gift of luxury from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Located at the Summit Shopping Centers, they've got a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. For more information, birmingham.woodhousespas.com or just get in, see Casey and Stuart up at the Summit Shopping Centers and tell them the next round sent you.
BetTheBoardPodcast.com is where you'll get all the games. We're going to talk about a few with Ferman, but if you want some opinions on all the games, BetTheBoardPodcast.com. And follow Ferman on Twitter at Todd Fuhrman. He is with us now. The former odds maker there at Caesars Palace is on the Johnston RVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Ferman? How are you today?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. Better than Team USA is performing through the early morning sessions overseas in the Ryder Cup, that's for sure.
I'm the dummy that got up at 4 a.m. to watch us get scalded in the early session there. I saw it at my bookie. I don't know universally. Did the U.S. go off as a slight underdog on this or a favorite?
It depended on the shops you looked at, but over the last 4 to 5 weeks, this number has come crashing down. You could have had Europe to lift the trophy at a price right around 2-1. We'll call it a pick'em for argument's sake is where this number went off, and a lot of the professional bettors I spoke to, guys, it's rare that I get agreement across the board, but they were all backing Europe in this particular tournament. Didn't talk to anybody whose opinion I truly respected that was on Team USA. So we'll see if they can defy the odds and erase that early 4-0 deficit.
Nice matchup tonight in the Pac-12. I mean, two of the most well-coached teams in all of college football as Utah heads into Corvallis to take on the Beavers. Ferman, this number opened at 2.5. I think that was probably about right. Now it's gone up to 4.5. That tells me the indication there is we are not going to see Cam Rising.
All signs pointing to that general direction. If Rising was out there, he may be extremely limited. And to your point, LT, this number, you had bettors get out ahead of it, figuring worst-case scenario, they could come back and take the underdog if the situation around it, the Utah quarterback, would change. You look at these two teams coming in off very different efforts last week. Utah leaned on their defense in a 14-7 win against UCLA. They got the pick 6 on the opening series and were able to ride some of that momentum, while Oregon State, from a scoreboard standpoint, looked to play a competitive football game against Washington State, but they needed a rally just for cosmetic purposes in that fourth quarter. Really struggled to move the ball up in Pullman. You look at what Jonathan Smith has been able to accomplish at the helm in Corvallis, has turned this program around a ton. Oregon State, 13-1 straight up, and ATS at home since the start of 2021. Their only straight-up loss coming against USC, a game that got away because they couldn't hold on to the football last year. And you look at the Beavers. The biggest Achilles heel for them defensively is in that secondary. Utah hasn't wanted to or been willing to throw the ball deep. I'm not sure they can exploit the Beavers' defensive deficiencies here. Look for DJU and company to play a little better. I actually like Oregon State in the first half more than I do the full game, still being able to lay less than a field goal.
Hey, it's like a Sarah McLachlan song from the 90s to me. Georgia is building a mystery, Ferman.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
What is Georgia to you right now as they play at Auburn?
I mean, Dunaway, the question I have for you is how long have you been waiting to deliver that line? Is that something that you've worked on since last Saturday? Did you come up with it before you got into the studio today?
And Ferman, has that line ever been used in a sports arena?
No, it hasn't. But I applaud you guys. You guys typically come from outside the box perspective and apply it to sports in ways I didn't think were humanly possible. So kudos to the three of you guys in that regard. It's a great question, and quite frankly, I don't know what Georgia is right now because you look at how they've played over the last couple of weeks. They seem to be stuck in neutral, find another gear, and then take their foot off the accelerator, and they've obviously been overvalued in the betting market to start the season. Just 1-3 ATS, failing to cover in all of those games except against Ball State, where they laid 41.5 and end up winning 45-3. You thought when they got an SEC play they were going to be a little bit more buttoned up, but that was anything but the case 2 weeks ago against South Carolina. So there are some concerns, especially for a young quarterback making his first start on the road. Now, on the flip side, you look at Auburn's recent history in this series, and they haven't exactly moved the football, guys. 7-10, 14-6, 10-10, the offensive output for the Tigers in the last 6 meetings. Georgia's still going to be good defensively. They're 9-1 against Auburn in the last 10 meetings, but it's the under trend that I think I'd gravitate much more to. 8-2 to the under. I think that can continue here. Look for Georgia to run the football, wear Auburn down, and this Auburn passing attack right now, absolutely non-existent. Feels like a low-scoring football game. Could make it tough for Georgia to win by margin.
Todd Fuhrman is with us. BetTheBoardPodcast.com is the website to go to. BetTheBoardPodcast.com. At Todd Fuhrman on Twitter is where you find him. Matt Wyatt, the former Mississippi State quarterback, was on our show earlier this week talking about how the secondary at Mississippi State has been torched 2 straight weeks, 2 quarterbacks having basically their career best day against them. Alabama's a 14.5-point favorite in Starkville Saturday night. Can you see Jalen Milroe maybe having his best game as an Alabama quarterback in this one?
You know, when we look at Jalen Milroe, he's been able to throw the deep ball and stretch the field a little bit. That's one of the things that we've seen in this Alabama playbook in a limited sample size so far this season. But I'm not sure Alabama may want to go out there and just play chuck and duck all game, because when you look at Mississippi State, while they've struggled to defend the pass, each of the last 2 weeks against LSU and South Carolina, they struggled just as much against the run. And this is a Gamecocks running attack that doesn't put fear into anybody. I think Alabama wants to run the football. They can set up some opportunities, hit home runs over the top. But maybe more importantly for Alabama, they saw glimpses of Mississippi State throwing the football for the first time this year, reminding us of the air raid attack in the past. I mean, Will Rogers throws for 487, but Alabama's been able to clamp down on what they've seen from Mississippi State in the past. Normally, with a price tag of 14.5 on the conference road, you try and make a case for the underdog. I can't do it here. I think it's favored or pass. The one concern, though, that we've seen with Alabama, albeit a limited sample size, the last 10 games that they've gone out on the road and been listed as a favorite, just 2-8 against the number, haven't really been able to find separation, but I would want no part of MSU here.
Fun game in the, well, we'll call it the so-called ACC with Notre Dame and Duke, but Notre Dame's won like 1,000 straight ACC games. To me, Duke's a better team. Notre Dame coming off the emotional loss to Ohio State. Duke's at home getting 5.5 points with that defense. What do you think?
You know, an interesting claim there, because I still have Notre Dame actually more than a touchdown favorite in this game on my numbers. But the one thing that concerns me is, will we see a lingering hangover from what got away from the Irish in the waning seconds last week against Ohio State? You mentioned Notre Dame and how good they've been against ACC opponents. Not only are they winning those games where they've now won 29 straight regular season games, they've covered in each of their last 9, which includes the trip to Carter-Finley Stadium against NC State earlier this year. What was interesting as you dig into this game, Duke has been good against the pass. You wonder the caliber of competition, but they've struggled against the run in the bottom half of the country in that department. This feels like an Audric Estime game where Notre Dame can dominate the trenches, much like they did for stretches last week against the Buckeyes. And when Mike Elko makes comments saying that he worries game day can be a bigger distraction for his team than their opponent, I wonder if Duke is ready for a game of this magnitude. When we look at the Blue Devils, they closed right around a 12.5, 13-point underdog on Labor Day against Clemson. Notre Dame now a full touchdown less that they're laying in this spot. I think Notre Dame is a better football team. But again, if they don't want to be fully entrenched, it's a real problem. I think we'll know after the first couple of series. My lean's toward Notre Dame at anything less than a touchdown.
Ferman, much like you in the coming days in Vegas with that potential culinary and bartending strike that could impact 36 casinos out there, LSU's talent level on the edge, I think, could really strike
this
down.
This is why he gets here at 5 a.m.
Strikes down and makes Ole Miss uncomfortable. How is this point spread so small? LSU seems like it's an easy delivery here.
Hey, look, I mean, if they need to call me out of bartending retirement, I'm happy to get back out there and try and make some mean cocktails. I poured beers and made gin and tonics with the best of them back in the day. But anytime you added more than 3 ingredients, there was no chance that ratio was going to be done correctly. So I would not be your guy for some of those fancy cocktails. As far as the LSU-Ole Miss game, it's interesting because the numbers suggest that Ole Miss is the side. Every time this price gets to 3 or 3.5, you see an appetite for the underdog. Ole Miss, of course, last week, not exactly lighting the world on fire. It was the worst offensive performance that we've seen from Lane Kiffin in a conference game, and 28 seems to be the magic number. When Ole Miss is able to accumulate that much offensively in the SEC, they win football games. My biggest fear for the Rebels is something feels off, and I can't quite put my finger on it. When I watch this team on the offensive side of the ball, they haven't been able to run it, and we can point our finger at Quinshon Judkins maybe not being 100%, but they're not getting much out of Ulysses Bentley. And if they can't run it, Jackson Dart isn't a drop-back passer that's really going to scare you, even against an LSU defense that's shown some vulnerability in the secondary. But the thing with LSU, they have a lot of fast, athletic DBs that are just smaller. So you saw Florida State exploit them with size. Arkansas had a little bit of that same success. And I actually think that was a wake-up call last week against the Razorbacks. LSU will get their points. I'm not sure what Ole Miss brings offensively. Not a game that I've invested in, but I think the best way to attack it, if you have access to some of those secondary derivative markets, might be betting LSU's team total over. Interesting nugget here, guys. When you look at Ole Miss's last 7 games against AP-ranked opponents, the average closing total in those games has been a shade less than 61. The average total points scored in those games, 44.7. Alabama and Ole Miss would have definitely fit that template last week as well.
Ferman Charles in the chat room is in need of some overs. He asked if you had a lean on an over in both the NFL and college.
In the NFL, I do. The numbers moved a little bit, so shop around. I think Arizona and San Francisco over 44 makes some sense. When you look at this Cardinals defense, I think there are a lot of concerns still. And this 49ers offense doesn't get enough credit for how dynamic they've been. Don't expect them to completely clamp down, but that's a total that's caught my eye in the NFL. In terms of college going over, we can do some real dumpster diving. UMass and Arkansas State, two teams that are a little bit more dynamic than they're given credit for offensively. The real move on this game came in at 54.5, but I don't think you lose a ton because I think there's a high level of variance here. So I'd have no problems going over 56 in a game that friends, family, and 7 other willing patrons will probably watch on Saturday.
A marquee game in the NFL, noon in Buffalo, as the Dolphins coming off 70 points against Denver. They roll into Buffalo as 3-point underdogs, assuming Vegas thinks these teams are equivalent. I assume the money's going to be all over the Miami Dolphins. Where are you on Dolphins-Bills?
For me, it's favorite or pass. There is no doubt about it. When you have a chance to fade a team off that kind of offensive outburst, you probably have to take advantage. Now, full disclosure, we don't have a massive sample size in the NFL of teams that score 60-plus, let alone 70. But if we do go back to 1970, it's happened 7 times in the past where teams have scored 60 or more points. Those teams the following week are 1-6 straight up, 0-7 against the spread, and they failed to cover the number by almost 2 touchdowns. So when I look at Buffalo defensively, they're going to be up for a challenge, in my opinion, to try and slow down Miami. What we've seen from Buffalo over the last couple weeks is an offense's willingness to be methodical rather than hunting the deep ball like we saw against the Jets in the season opener where they turned it over. And when you dig into some of the Josh Allen numbers, they're kind of staggering. Of all the games played in Orchard Park, Josh Allen 5-0, and the Bills are averaging nearly 38 points per game against the Dolphins. We can throw out the playoff matchup last year with Skylar Thompson. I don't think that really carries much weight. But it just feels like this Bills team has multiple ways they can beat you, and I think Miami is going to find it a little bit tougher to move the football. So I like the Bills in this game, and I actually like a contrarian under just because I don't think we're going to see enough possessions for this game to go flying over unless one of the teams is chasing a multi-score deficit.
Ferman with some great thoughts on college football and a very bad one to end on in the NFL there. Don't want to hear any of that.
Hey, it's a long season, and look, the Dolphins have put themselves in the catbird seat to get a playoff berth in the AFC. The $100 million question, how healthy will that group be when they play meaningful football potentially in January?
If Tua never gets touched, he never gets hurt. Ferman, thank you, man. Have a great weekend.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Enjoy the game.
All right, buddy. You too. Todd Fuhrman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, BetTheBoardPodcast.com, BetTheBoardPodcast.com. And on Twitter, at Todd Fuhrman.
Royal Payne, who joins us on Twitter at Next Round Live on all the platforms, Next Round Live on all social media, like, subscribe, follow wherever you are, says he was listening to a college football gambler who does his own power rankings and said his top 13 teams are within a touchdown of each other in college football. And he says he can't remember that happening in the last decade to 15 years, that the top 13 being as close as it is.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say I would kind of believe that. So you would say Georgia is number 1 for a lot of people. In the rankings, Alabama is near number 13. I mean, do you honestly think Georgia is more than 7 points better than Alabama?
No.
If they were to play?
You give me any of these top 13 matchups right now, and I don't know how you list anybody more than 7 over the other. And I had a communication student from the University of Alabama reach out, and I did a one-on-one with him this week, and his final question was, give me your 14 playoff. And I'm like, good luck. I said, I will try to walk through this. And I did walk through it, but it's nearly impossible right now.
Yeah. NASCAR is not impossible. It is absolutely possible for you to get a ticket to Talladega coming up on Sunday. Yellowwood 500. Yellowwood 500. Get a ticket. Enjoy the racing. Your Sunday ticket gets you in to see Hardy on Saturday night. Just cruise over to TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, and book that weekend of excitement. Truck race on Saturday. Hardy in concert Saturday night. The party continues into Sunday with the Yellowwood 500, a NASCAR playoff weekend at Talladega, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Coaches shows last night, a couple of nuggets from Nick Saban and Hugh Freeze. Hey, Coach, courtesy of the Crimson Tide Sports Network, talking about mistakes in the red zone.
We need to play the way we played in the second half and eliminate some of those costly errors that we've had 5 touchdowns called back in 4 games. That may be an NCAA record because of penalties. 5 touchdowns this season because of penalties. So, just the attention to detail that it takes to be a consistent player and to perform at the level that I know these guys want to perform, but they have to have a sense of urgency about how important it is to do things right, fundamentally, as well as how you prepare for the game. I think the players are learning from these experiences that we have of why didn't it work, why did it work, and how can we continue to improve on the things that we need to improve on, and self-assess individually and collectively as groups so that we can go out there and execute better.
Yeah, so that's last night from Hey Coach, Crimson Tide Sports Network there. It's pretty obvious. You don't want to have those same mistakes in the red zone that keeps happening, even an interception again last week.
Yeah, it is alarming. I mean, it's just weird that they're happening on scoring plays. I mean, I don't even know where Alabama is in penalties. Do you feel like they've cleaned up overall penalties?
I mean, compared to last year, yes, but they're still up there.
Yeah, see, here's the thing that I wish, like Auburn got a couple of penalties against Texas A&M where they were delay game penalties and basically back into punter.
Right. Those are intentional.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish there was a category for crucial penalties, like some kind of red, a high alert penalty or something.
I'd say 5 calling touchdowns back are crucial penalties, right? Alabama is middle of the pack in the conference, 51 on average penalty yards per game, which has them 8th. So that's actually an improvement over where they have been of late, but there are, like you said, crucial ones that are calling touchdowns back.
Meanwhile, last night on Tiger Talk, courtesy of the Auburn Network, Hugh Freeze got this question about his offense, and he lets you in a little nugget as they get ready for number 1 Georgia to come to Jordan-Hare. This may give you a little hope, Auburn fans. Little T, take off the earbuds. You got your jersey on. Listen to Hugh Freeze here. Maybe tells you something to give you a little hope at Jordan-Hare.
RPOs. I know that's your big thing, and we're going to probably see a little bit more of that in the future with him being able to run a little bit, and he can throw it too.
If we don't see some RPOs soon, I'm going to have a heart attack. So yeah, I have to say I was more active in the game plan this week than ever, and it cost me a little time in recruiting, but I don't want to go another week where it's not what I think our guys can do. And I'm not saying there weren't things. There was good calls, but I do think we're better when we can throw some RPOs off the run game. And we've got, I think, a really good plan. Obviously, you're playing one of the elite defenses in the country, and I don't know that they're always going to work, but we certainly are going to try to improve on that.
A little bit more involved in the game plan this week.
He's frustrated, it seems, with Philip Montgomery. He's openly criticized him point blank once, I remember, and then just some drive-bys numerous times, Lance. So I don't think he's been a particular fan of the way Philip Montgomery has coordinated this offense. Again, I can't blame Philip Montgomery entirely. He's not the one that picked these quarterbacks.
No, and look, and guess who picked Philip Montgomery? That was Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
And look, the play calling was not bad in the first half. I go back to it. I've said this multiple times this week. You guys would agree with me that there were receivers that were open. There were plays to be made, and that game could have flipped and gone a complete different direction if you execute easy, simple throws. And for whatever reason, it just didn't happen. And Peyton Thorne's got a ton of experience, so he's got to relax a little bit. I mean, that's the thing that scares me. I like Auburn in this game, plus the 14.5. But early on, you're going to be able to see. Like, Auburn needs to force turnovers. That crowd's got to be in it. And the question you asked Ferman is legitimate. I really don't know what Georgia is right now.
Several of you talking about the future of the offensive coordinator situation. I think Hugh not calling plays this year is a direct result of him wanting to rebuild the roster, as he said, spending so much time in recruiting. We'll see if that changes moving forward as well. Something that has changed over the course of this show since we've been able to see us is LT's hair. Tell us about Dr. B.
My friend Dr. B, Dr. Beckenstein, the best in the business. I didn't know who the guy was when we started this venture and started to thin out a little bit, asked around. Dr. B was the name. Everyone said, you need to go see this guy. Since I went to see Dr. Beckenstein, my hair has more than doubled in thickness. I do 3 non-invasive treatments on the couch per week. That is it. T3hair.net, 205-319-0316. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. Beckenstein today, 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
And the great folks at the University of Montevallo bringing you the show today as well. If you got a son or daughter that are heading out to a high school game tonight as a junior or senior, think about Montevallo for their future. Great institution there when it comes to academics, builds a lot of great teachers, broadcasters, theater majors, music majors, business majors, and of course 23 fully funded scholarship athletics on the NCAA Division II level. It's all right there at the University of Montevallo. Schedule that in-person tour and check out all the great things you get at Montevallo. Just go to this website, montevallo.edu, montevallo.edu. We talk to Roman Harper next on the show.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy, all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Show rolls on, brought to you today in part by our great friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Listen, to stop prostate cancer, you need to get checked out. September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Every 2 minutes, a new case of prostate cancer is diagnosed in the U.S. Around the age of 40, you should start getting your PSA checked and keep an eye on that prostate as you age a little bit. UCA has over 35 urologists on hand at 16 locations across the great state of Alabama. To get more details and to set up that prostate cancer exam or that PSA exam, you just go to urologycentersalabama.com. urologycentersalabama.com. Our great friends at UCA reminding you that September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. The best way to prevent prostate cancer is to continue to get that PSA checked. And even if you do develop prostate cancer, early diagnosis is crucial there. That's why you need to book an appointment with our friends at urologycentersalabama.com. urologycentersalabama.com.
In the chat room, Brooks says both Alabama and Auburn OCs are going to get the major Applewhite treatment if they do not improve. I would say it's on the table. I don't know. Hugh Freeze is very frustrated, it seems, with Philip Montgomery, the way he's called the offense. I mean, he's said it numerous times.
But Philip Montgomery, again, a lot of this is personnel.
Especially at the quarterback position.
I think almost 90% of it is personnel.
He's just starting at quarterback. Exactly right. But, do you have an offensive line that can run the ball consistently? Do you have receivers that can really make plays? It all stacks up, and I think Hugh Freeze understands that, which is why he's recruiting. He does make some public comments about Phil Montgomery, but I think Montgomery's a guy he brought in because he knew Phil Montgomery could take the heat.
I was going to say, Dunaway, the only critical thing I can remember so far Saban saying about Tommy Rees was why they were not under center on the goal line situation last week after the punt block. And basically said, next time we'll be under center. That's essentially what he said.
We're about to talk to our friend Roman Harper, who's always brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. But I want to remind you, Wayne's is celebrating 50 years. Wayne's Pest Control has been serving our communities by doing the thing they love. That's providing world-class pest control and termite protection to those they care about the most. That is you, the next round viewer and listener. And a way to say thank you to all of you is by giving you some money back. Visit callwaynes.com, callwaynes.com today to enjoy $50 off of pest control and termite protection. It's our friends at Wayne's.
All right, Lexington, Kentucky is where we find Roman Harper. Harp is with us, courtesy, as Jim said, of MyBookie.ag. Code next round this weekend at MyBookie.ag. It gets you that sign-on bonus of 110% on your initial deposit. They give you that free money, 110% sign-on bonus, MyBookie.ag. Code next round for that. Harp is with us now. What is going on, Roman? How are things in Lexington?
What's up, fellas? Just leaving a horse farm out here. We went to Spendthrift Horse Farms. They have a whole bunch of Derby winners, a whole bunch of people out there that are doing great things. I think the horse that we just saw, Jordan, what's the name of the horse? Beholder. Yes, Beholder. And Into Mischief is the most expensive horse, stallion, quote unquote, in America. Over $280,000 a pop, quote unquote. So, we learned a lot out here.
Roman, no joke. This is not a lie. This was early 90s. I lived in Lexington, and I got invited by an older woman to be her date to a black tie party at a horse farm, and it may have been that one. I can't remember exactly. So I get picked up in a limo from my apartment. I'm a young buck at the time, single, and in a tuxedo that I had rented. We go to this party, and they've got violins in the corner and a chocolate bar, champagne fountain, and all that. And then all of a sudden, in the stable area that we're in, they bring in the mare, and then they bring in the stud. And as the stud is about to mount, they close the curtain, and the music cranks back up, and the party continues. It was like Eyes Wide Shut for horses.
Whoa. We didn't see that. We didn't.
Lucky you.
But my man Jordan did ask, do they artificially inseminate or do they do it old school? And they are an old school place. So the old school humping still happens there. And look, man, if the stud's making this type of money, I would do it more too.
Good living, right?
Yeah.
It's good living.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's a high price pimp. Hey, Harp, speaking of old school ass whippings, I mean, this is what Florida just dominated this rivalry forever. This is the first time Kentucky's been favored in 35 years against Florida. And I really don't, watching Florida week 1 against Utah, I think we know Utah's defense is that good. Graham Mertz is completing, 78% of his passes. I don't know what we're getting with Kentucky. I really don't know what we're getting with Florida. It's a game I'm going to stay away from. But how do you think this thing plays out?
No, I think you're dead on it. The only caveat I would throw into that is that Florida has learned who they are. They're a run-first team that's able to throw the ball selectively, with Graham Mertz being smart with the football, taking care of it. But really, they want to be a run-first, dominant, heavy team. Kentucky, on the other end, I don't know if they exactly know who they are yet. Multiple games, the first 3 games, they come out, they throw it all over the ballpark. They want to establish the run game after throwing it first. Then the last game, all right, well, maybe we want to be more of a run-first team that throws off of that. And so I think Kentucky's in this place where they're still trying to figure themselves out personality-wise. I think Florida knows exactly who they are. But I think this game's going to come down to it is that Florida's not just going to be able to just bully Kentucky like they've done at times, like they did versus Tennessee in that run game. I think Kentucky's a little bit more diverse than what Tennessee is on offense. And honestly, guys, Florida has to create a turnover or two, which is what they've really struggled with. They've only created 1 turnover in 4 games. So I think if they don't create turnovers, I think Kentucky can win this game very easily, just because playing possession by possession, knowing that it's on the road, it's going to be in Kentucky. Kentucky has some juice going right now, playing with a lot of confidence. This quarterback, Ray Davis at running back, I like what they're bringing to the table. But Florida, if they get a turnover or two, Florida could win this game, just because that's when they really play well. That's what you saw the best version of themselves versus Tennessee.
Roman Harper with us, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Don't forget code NEXTROUND this weekend, and you get 110% sign-on bonus on your initial deposit there at MyBookie.ag when you use code NEXTROUND. Ole Miss, after the Alabama loss last year, fell off a cliff. And now here comes LSU. They cannot afford to fall off a cliff right now. This is seems to be a tough spot for Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. If they want to have any hopes in the West, they have to win this game Saturday.
It is a must-win for them. And how will LSU continue to respond? I think LSU defensively got to get some things fixed throughout their secondary, which is not just the secondary. It's rush. It's the linebackers. Everybody's involved with the coverage part of it. But they got to continue to try and shore up some things, because you just don't want to have to win every game by scoring 35, 42 points. At some point, you'd like for your defense to kind of calm the waters and say, okay, like they did versus Mississippi State. So, it is there, but it's going to be really weird. I'm looking at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss, for the first time since I've seen them play Alabama, they didn't fool Alabama. There was no play where I was like, dude, Alabama, they were not ready for that. That did not happen. So maybe Ole Miss is missing Jeff Levy a little bit, more than we actually think, just because Lane Kiffin is still there. We always anticipate, they're just Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss offense. That's not what I'm seeing. They got to continue to pick their game up. They're not running the football as well as they need to be, especially with Quinshon Judkins, that running back. They should be so much better. But Jackson Dart is playing well. So Jackson Dart throwing the football. And I didn't think he played bad versus Alabama either. Alabama just played really good on defense. They just played better. And so will LSU be able to do that same thing and match that type of intensity? It's in Oxford. They should be ready. And I think it is a must-win for Ole Miss. Ole Miss has to win this game. Has to. And if they don't, what does that do to your psyche? How does Ole Miss psyche handle themselves if they lose 2 straight games versus the highest competition in the SEC West?
Did Zach Arnett and Will Rogers figure something out last week? And is that a challenge for Alabama, or was that just the opponent last week?
No, I think they figured out, it's a happy medium. I've compared Mississippi State's offense to a really big pendulum. So, when it swings really far to the left, you have a big swing all the way back to the right. The left being, we throw the ball 70 times in a game under Mike Leach. Then going all the way to the right being, we're going to run it 45 times and throw it 12 times in a game. And it actually really needs to settle somewhere in the middle, which I just think it's better for Will Rogers overall. More, not as much pistol formation, more quarterback, more running back right to the side of him, more intermediate pass routes, more spread offense concepts. That's what really worked. And also South Carolina played with bad eye discipline and gave up some really big shots down the field naturally. So that's what the big difference was. It wasn't like Will Rogers was just so much better. I think offensively, they found the weakness what South Carolina was allowing them to do. And they said, we don't need to run the ball if we can throw it for 430 yards. So let's just do that. And it kind of just worked out. It'll be interesting to see if they'll be able to continue this wave. I think they'll struggle against Alabama because if you can't run the ball versus Alabama, like you have to at least be able to threaten them with the run. Every team that's beaten Alabama or given Alabama problems, they've at least been able to move the ball situationally with the run game and then throw off of that. And so, but we all know throughout time, Mississippi State's they've always played Alabama tight, but never won the game.
Hey, Harp, is Jordan driving or is he a passenger?
Jordan is the passenger. He's in the back.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. What up, Jordan? Hey, Jordan, would Auburn have a better shot if you were under center this weekend?
Hey, Jordan, they want to know, would Auburn have a better shot if you were up under center this week?
Oh, man.
Hold on. Let me turn you on.
We can hear him. We can hear him fine. Yeah,
we can hear him all right.
Yeah. Hey, they got to figure out the quarterback position, right? I mean, hey, I'm not going to pump myself up like I could go out there and push it any further than 45 yards downfield, so that might be a little bit of an issue. But I think you got to go back to Robbie Ashford. I mean, the Peyton Thorne experience was he was going to be the guy because he could be more consistent in the pass game, right? And still do some things with his legs. That hasn't been the case. I mean, 6 for 12 last week. You're pedestrian at best. He wouldn't let the ball go. Couldn't get the ball out of his hands. So I think you got to try anything, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see 2 or 3 guys again this week. But they got to figure that out because it ain't working. And, yeah, I think I could spit it around a little bit.
Hey, just as a total PSA for you guys, the Wildcat, not Wildcat one word, separated, Wildcat Saloon, please stay away. You guys are too good looking. They'll tear you apart in there. You will not make the show in the morning, so no Wildcat Saloon.
I was like, Wildcat Saloon, where do I need to go?
GPS, put it in.
Do not go.
Tear you apart in there.
Don't even let Feinbaum go in there. Don't even let Feinbaum go in there.
Roman doesn't have a hit until like 6:15 a.m.
I'm good, bro. I can make that. They know me. They know me.
They buy drinks for Feinbaum in that place, Wildcat Saloon. So stay away, boys. Stay away.
All right, Roman Harper each week, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Boys, enjoy the time in Lexington. Always fun talking with both of you now.
Appreciate it, fellas. Thank you. Seabass, say what's up.
Hey, Seabass. What's up, Seabass? All right, see you, Roman. All right, Harper with us each week, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. And right now, you get that sign-on bonus of 110%. They're giving you 110%. We ask it from the players and the coaches all the time. MyBookie's giving it to you. 110% of your sign-on bonus, your initial deposit. They match it 110%. That is absolute free money. You can use it right away. Win one time. You keep it forever. They're not strings attached to this. MyBookie.ag, code next round to get that. Code next round at MyBookie.ag.
Listen, just Facebook Wildcat Saloon. 2 separate words, Wildcat. Whatever you want to read into the name, Saloon. Go check it out on Facebook if you'd like. Rockstar, we'll do a little sound here that is brought to you by our friends at Bromberg's. A lot of teams chasing the ring this year. If you're looking for the ring, you get it at Bromberg's.
Yeah, they are your diamond specialist. If you're thinking about popping that question, nothing like giving or getting that silver box from our friends at Bromberg's. Family owned and operated since 1836. Stop into one of those 2 great locations, Mountain Brook at the Summit. For more information, brombergs.com.
Good looking rings right there on your screen. If you're watching us on all our video platforms, they're chasing the ring up on Rocky Top. They got a bounce back from a loss. Josh Heupel and company, they bounced back with that win over UTSA last week after losing in the Swamp. But here comes South Carolina. Big favorite is the Tennessee Volunteers. And, hey, Heupel knows this is another dogfight.
Coach, through 4 weeks of the season so far, what do you see as the personality, the development of the identity of the SEC? Is it more well-rounded? Is it more parity in the league?
I think college football in general and this league, every Saturday is its own entity. And your preparation, a play here or there that, turns the momentum in the football game a little bit, it's fine lines, man. So you got to show up. You got to be prepared. You got to have a great competitive spirit. You got to play extremely hard. And you got to do the ordinary things at a really high level. In this league and across college football, there's a ton of parity. And when I say that, the separation is really thin. So you got to be on the right side of it.
That's Josh there. Still hard to believe that was a mobile quarterback at one point. He's a guy that's got a has got an offense that I think still looking for their quarterback. I'm not sure Joe is the guy.
I think Joe will be the guy the rest of the year, and I think Joe will show out against the South Carolina defense.
They're down 60 yards per game year to year right now. They were 525 a game last year.
And not all Joe either. I mean, the receivers.
No, I don't entirely. I mean, Jalen Hyatt was an excellent receiver. He's playing in the NFL right now, right?
And Brew McCoy's not getting as open as I thought he'd get open.
Squirrel White. I mean, they've got a lot of players that I thought would be bigger contributors that haven't been.
Yeah, but 465 a game right now. So they're down. They're down 60 yards a game. I mean, that's a significant drop year to year, and it is a lot of things. But it is naturally going to get pointed to. Quarterback is going to get pointed to more than any of those because there is a. I mean, there's. You can't deny it's a significant difference from Hendon Hooker to Joe Milton right now.
And here's why I drew the skinny cock earlier this week, the skinny Gamecock logo.
It looked like he was hungry, Jimmy.
It's because Spencer Rattler may be the best quarterback in the league right now. His QBR for the year is 170.9. 170.9. Remember who they played, right? Mm-hmm. They played North Carolina.
One of the toughest schedules in the country.
They played Georgia, and they scored a lot last week against Mississippi State. At the end of last year, there were only 3 FBS quarterbacks that had a 170.9 QBR at the end of last year. Spencer Rattler's playing that good right now. He started off last week with an offensive line that is struggling to protect him, but he's still got that QBR. Here's Spencer Rattler on what it takes to win in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Spencer, you could probably say this run you're on really started against Tennessee last year. So going into their place, knowing they're going to be hyped up to try to maybe get one back, just is that any extra fuel for the fire?
That's a good question. I know you guys probably hate this answer, but you know what I'm going to say. It's the same thing every game. Nameless, faceless opponents. They're going to want to get, obviously, a win back on us, so we got to be prepared. We got to go out there and keep our emotion out of the way of our execution and just go out there and execute and have a good time out there and play hard.
Blow your mind. I mean, it won't blow your mind. I don't know if you've watched him. It won't blow your mind. He's got that QBR, second yards per game in passing, and they're dead last running the football. He is getting 0 run support.
Yeah, their offensive line is that bad.
It's that bad.
Well, and he's doing it without Juice Wells. I mean, Juice Wells is supposed to be one of the best receivers, and, he's been banged up. He's not really playing, and I don't think he's going to play again this weekend. Leggett has been really good, but Spencer Rattler, outside of that Georgia game, the completion percentage, we went through it, I think it was 88%.
Yeah, and he was great in the first half of that Georgia game. They schemed him up in the second half.
He's got no support. I mean, they can't block for him. They can't block for the run. I mean, it's just everything says Spencer Rattler shouldn't be playing this kind of football, but he's playing it, and they've got the number 1 quarterback in the conference. It does make them a little bit dangerous. I know you feel like they got a shot in this game.
Oh, I do. South Carolina's got a shot in this game for sure. All right, we'll do our headlines when we come back. Monday's headlines today. Some predictions on some big games. I got an SEC outcome I will tell you about. Brownie, why don't you tell us about our great friends at Moore's Marinade as we head to break here?
Jimmy D, it is Friday night, which in my house means date night, steak night. We are going to grill some steaks. That means the Moore's Marinade will be out. My little one, what she really likes is pork chops.
I do too.
Yeah, so I'm going to go grab her a pork chop, and the wife and I are going to eat some steaks. So I'll have some Moore's Marinade out on several different things. You can be a grilling hero this weekend for football with Moore's Marinade, all right? Listen to me. The buffalo wing sauce adds a perfectly tangy flavor. And you could put it on anything: chicken fingers, burgers, sandwiches, pizza, pasta, tacos, fries, and much more. The main marinade there, it is much lower sodium than leading lower sodium marinades, but you don't sacrifice flavor with that. A delicious boost of hickory flavor on whatever you're putting on the grill, like those pork chops or those steaks that I'm talking about. See more about Moore's Marinades. Get some recipe ideas, some grilling inspiration, and just see why it is the best. While grillers everywhere are choosing Moore's Marinades and wing sauces. You can see it all, mooresmarinades.com. That is mooresmarinades.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram @Jim Dunaway.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
If you're looking for a fun golf atmosphere that is laid back with a peaceful environment, the Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280, is perfect for you. Just a short drive from Birmingham, this 18-hole, 200-acre track with rolling fairways and ample greens is the definition of peacefulness of the country just miles from the city. Enjoy a great lunch before your round and a cocktail on the wraparound porch after 18. Come see us today. The Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
As summer starts to fade, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight. Box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and let's show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your party. Take charge today. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone, the New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. The next round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Super Speedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Back with you on the next round. Put my glasses on as I talk a little football and finances. You know, Trent Dilfer is going to try to cash in on a big road upset this week on the road in New Orleans, the Big Easy against Tulane. You know what's a big, easy decision? Making a switch to Legacy.
Nice.
In the world of finances, consistent small gains leads to a winning season of wealth accumulation.
That's right, Coach. And just like on the football field, small monetary gains can lead to big financial victories. With a Legacy Engaged checking account, you'll earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. Engaged checking offers no minimum balance requirements, round-up features, and you can get paid up to 2 days early. All you have to do is visit LegacyCreditUnion.com, LegacyCreditUnion.com, and click Join, where you can open your new account in just minutes. Legacy is the official credit union of UAB and a proud supporter of UAB football. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions apply. See credit union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. All right, we're about to do our Monday headlines today. If you're not familiar with this segment, what we do here, we try to project or predict the outcome of some games, and then we will do that in a funny way, we hope. By the way, Brody is saying Deontay Lawson's expected to be out weeks from Chris Lowe. I think we said that earlier this week. I said Tennessee game is when I expect him back.
Yeah, you were projecting that will be the next time back. I mean, hope there's been no word that he had to do the tightrope surgery yet that I have seen, and I hope that's not the case for him. But it was an ankle. The reason I don't didn't think it was as bad as Nick Saban talked in terms of he might be able to play. Normally, if they do the tightrope, Saban will just come out and say,
right,
high ankle sprain, he had the tightrope, we hope to get him back in a month. He's done that numerous times. So Saban had shed a ray of hope on him playing this weekend.
That's from Chris Lowe, who always is very closely tied to the Crimson Tide. And a great read today at ESPN.com on the Alabama-Mississippi State rivalry that goes away after this year on the annual basis. All right, let's do it. He'll tell you about Johnston RV after you hit the big button, Rocky.
The College Football Spotlight.
Like the game's already been played. Monday's headlines today.
I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. That is where you find Johnston RV Center. JohnstonRVCenter.com. Cherokee, the number one selling brand in all of America and in Alabama. The number one dealer is Johnston RV Center. Starting as low as $199 a month. JohnstonRVCenter.com. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Johnston RV Center brings you these headlines.
We'll go in these orders. The order you have, let's just go with Brown first, man. Rocky, pop it up for him. What do we have, Brownie?
Mine comes from the LA Times. Trojans falling off without D. Yep. Their lack of defense, the USC lack of defense, killing title hopes. So the Trojans are falling off without D. And Lance, it's bad news. Now, they're going to win. Don't worry, Lance. They're your big USC guy. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. They're going to win. But the Trojans definitely fall off without D. It's gonna.
Boy, people are making a big deal about this Alex Grinch defense. You know what?
Bad.
They haven't lost yet.
Yes. Yep. Really just needed a headline idea there.
What are the sub-headlines?
Josh Allen, he's complaining about the Dolphins' offense seems very unfair. He says it's just too good. Josh Allen, complaining. It's rare for Josh Allen to complain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I never see that.
Times is lacking an editor, man. It says the Doppelthins.
Yeah. Hey, have you noticed the newspaper industry though, Rockstar?
Yeah,
the newspaper industry.
Apparently, we're learning Brown's LA Times is AI generated.
The newspaper industry has fallen off. You lay off that many people, Rockstar, and those are the things that are going to slip through right there.
That's okay. I sent out a tweet and a Instagram story today promoting my Talk If Champions, not Talk of Champions. Let's Talk If Champions.
If champions come, they're invited.
Auburn also, Jim, baptizing 8 local high school quarterbacks and a wide receiver just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. Never know.
Good LA Times. All right, let's go to the Dunaway Digest, which covers the country. One of the great movies that's out there right now, Lane Spotting. Golding Award winner, in fact, after allowing 50 points this weekend. LSU 50, Ole Miss 17. Read the story at Oxford. This one was rated R for drugs and violence as LSU drugged the Rebs all over the vault. Meanwhile, broadcaster says goodbye to Google.
He's 25 now, okay?
Can I just tell you that somebody is older than 25?
That was the funniest line of the show yesterday.
Oh, it was.
Broadcaster says goodbye to Google. And whistling, how you doing? 50 tips to a happy life. Rarely do you get life and leisure on the front page. We'll get one of those. Whistling and how you doing?
It's a digest. There's got to be some comfort there.
Rockstar, can you give me the story behind Dunaway asking me yesterday during a break? Brown, you're a nice guy. How often do you think you say how you doing in a day?
Well, I'm guessing because you're the phone guy and you got to introduce Roman. So how do you say it to open? Roman, how you doing? Yeah. So it's better to say like.
But now I made the Dunaway Digest, so I was thinking maybe there was a conversation.
No, I mean it's just. Lunsford was in here at 10. It had to be 10:45 getting a soda yesterday. And you're like, Lunsford, how you doing? And have you already been working? We're already 2 hours into the show.
I don't know if I'd spoken to him yet, though.
I haven't heard you whistle today, though.
Yeah, you weren't in here earlier.
Hey, wow. Rocky, is yours a good one? I'm going to be done away. I'm going to ask you.
50 tips to a happy life.
Is it pre-produced? Is it good? Because I'll go now.
Okay,
mine's not that good.
All right, yours not that good?
Yeah.
All right.
This one from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Oh, Nebraska?
Nebraska breaks cardinal rule and gets cornholed at home.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen.
Michigan 34-3. I mean, you don't want to get cornholed anywhere.
Yeah.
But you get cornholed in front of your home crowd.
Home, yes, and that's always a record crowd. I mean, they still that joint out.
It's a competitive game.
Yeah,
I mean, that is demeaning for somebody to walk into your house and cornhole.
There's no doubt.
I feel like Nebraska's played this closer than expected.
Oh.
Well, you know what? Jeff Sims is pretty much out at quarterback.
Hold the pen up there, Dunaway.
Closer than the experts think.
All right, Rocky.
Or either that, I'm cheering for Matt Rule.
Mine's coming from Lexington, Kentucky. It's from the jungle, and Stoops brings Gators to their knees.
I saw him come out and sing with Carrie Underwood, and it is Mark freaking Stoops. I mean, you cannot convince me it's not Mark Stoops. Yeah. It was a recent concert, too, and Carrie Underwood does a lot of GNR in her
Who's
concerts.
that a bigger negative for, Stoops
I really don't know.
Axel?
I really don't know.
I would say Axel.
And by the way, Rockstar, I've never noticed we should never have the Florida and the UK logos stacked on top of each other like that.
Wow.
I've not noticed
Is that how Gators made?
I mean, 78 years of the SEC, or how many it is now. I've never seen those logos stacked together.
Best basketball uniform of all time, those shorts that Tony Delk wore. Oh, those are great. Weren't they great?
Oh, God, Kentucky, for such a tradition-rich program, screws with their uniforms.
No, but look, give me the headline again, Rocky.
Stoops brings Gators to their knees.
But, I mean, you said it's a bigger insult to Axel?
Yes, because you appear like a sex appeal. You're a rock star.
But for Mark Stoops, we're saying Axl Rose has gotten so bad, he now looks like Mark Stoops. I mean, it's an insult to Stoops.
It's an insult to both.
If I'm a sexual icon, and then 20 years later they say, man, you look like a head coach that, ugh.
Hey, there is so much going on, though. Look, I mean, the Gator is mounted there. Look, the girl Gator on top of him is in a different world.
Yeah. She's smiling, isn't she?
Yeah.
Happy
Zoned
Gator.
out. The fourth quarter must have just ended for her. All right, there you go. There's our headlines. Monday headlines today right here on the next round, being brought to you in part by great friends at Hemp Hill.
Hemp Hill Services right now offering 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free 10-year labor warranty. When you mention the next round, call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services for all of your heating, plumbing, and cooling needs. Trust the name. Birmingham's trusted since 1954. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
More on today's big slates. Rockstar's Playhouse. That is in the next segment. Then we've got trash. Then we'll make our picks later on. And maybe a familiar face swings by, too, in the final hour of the show. That's all still to go on this jam-packed next round. Thanks to everybody last night who was with us at Overtime Bar and Grill for our Bud Light game night. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Drytech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. Drytech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. Drytech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call Drytech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, Drytech's team will handle the rest.
Don't miss your chance to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Open 24/7, so come on in for non-stop gaming action. You'll find the latest, hottest, most exciting games around. And you'll love the fun bonuses and big jackpots. Plus, you can watch and wager on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
The next round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. NextRound.store. That's NextRound.store.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
So the day's over with, Brown, at the Ryder Cup.
Almost. One more match still going, but it looks good for the U.S.
So it's going to be, it's 6-1 right now?
It's going to end up 6-2, which is a complete beatdown. This would be the equivalent, I mean, it's a third of the way through, essentially. This is the equivalent probably of being down
35?
I mean, 4 or 5 touchdowns right now.
Oof. Yeah. And so the Americans they're leading 2 with 2 to play. So the worst they're going to do is half, right?
Yeah, so the worst it could be would be 6.5 to 1.5, which is it's still a beatdown. It's probably going to be 6-2 after one day.
So not a good day for the Americans who have not won on European soil in 30 years. This would be a fantastic event if it was the weekend before football started.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Like, I've got no desire to watch this.
I mean, why not change it by 1 month? 1 month.
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why they have chosen to play it right here. Yeah, but that's where it's always been played.
Well, I don't think Europe worries about college football.
No, that is one thing.
Or the NFL.
And I do think that there are a lot of uppity golf people that are like, hey, look, nobody's going to step on our sport. We'll put it where we want.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah. But I think it's more about the Europe side.
Probably so. All right. Beautiful course. I didn't even know they played golf in Italy.
Yeah, boy, I bet Rome. I've always wanted to go to Italy.
Yeah.
I've got a friend in Italy right now.
Italy, do you?
Well, I got a couple. I mean, we've got Herb's over there.
Oh, that's right. Herb is over there.
I think he's relocated.
Yeah. How long's he been over there?
I mean,
17 days.
I would not golf if I went to Italy, but I didn't. I mean, this is outside of Rome. And beautiful golf and country club they're playing on. It's just an interesting course, not a links-looking course. It looks like a normal American course. Yeah.
Like somebody asked me, would you ever want to go to an NFL game in London? No. I mean, if I want to go to London, I go to an NFL game down the street.
I'm going to do London things when I'm in London.
I could literally get to New Orleans, Nashville, and Atlanta in a day's drive. Go to a game in any of those cities.
Will you guys turn on Jacksonville and Atlanta just to see the Toy Story, how they're going to do it?
I will not, no.
Okay.
All right, so here we.
I don't have any interest.
I will too.
I can't figure out what they're doing. Can somebody tell me what they're doing?
Well, I'll know more on Sunday.
Well, they said it's going to be in real time. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do that.
Will you let me know what they did?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my old PlayStation, I could one of the college football games, I could play mascots against mascots.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I used to like that.
I hated it, but I would do it with my son, who was probably at the time 5, 6, or 7.
The best one was Sparky. Because he was the smiling devil, and he'd come running around the edge just smiling.
Will you take an edible to watch?
Wow.
I know it's early.
9:30 in the morning.
Early on a Sunday morning?
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't think Maggie wants me front row church in that state.
Dancing around.
Yeah. Okay, a couple of sound bites here, Tyler, as we get going on this hour, brought to you by our friends at Champy's Chicken. Give me 3 and 5, and we'll set the table before we get to Rockstar's Playhouse coming up here. Our friends at Champy's Chicken, man. Tailgating, you got that checked right here at Champy's Chicken. The cooked to order Southern fried chicken that you get with Sterling right there. It's cooked to order, man. When you walk in there, he brines it overnight. So juicy. Juicy, juicy, juicy. Hand-cut chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, $119 in Alabaster. Over a decade now at champyschicken.com. We appreciate those folks so much. This is Zach Arnett. He's the head coach at Mississippi State, and he's getting ready to play Alabama, coming off a couple losses. Got really outclassed by LSU, and then played better at South Carolina, but still it's 2 straight SEC losses, and now here comes the Tide.
We find ourselves coming off back-to-back losses, and we're facing a program that probably most teams don't want to be facing in that scenario. But Alabama is playing very well right now. Obviously, as talented of a program, their roster, as any team in the country. On defense, I think they're playing as good as anyone in the country. I mean, they're playing lights out on defense. They are fun to watch, except for the week that you have to play them. But they're very impressed. And then on offense, that seems to me like every week they are further identifying exactly what their identity is and what they do really well and how do they play to their strengths. And they're still extremely talented.
Was that a coach's way of saying that the offense has not been very impressive?
Yeah, pretty much. He looks just like a former client of ours. Stefan Boyer.
He does. I've never noticed that till just now.
Yeah, that made Rockstar laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, he really does.
He does. Yep. Alabama statistically, Dunaway, is playing a bend but don't break defense. I don't know if you guys view it as bend but don't break. Do you view it as bend but don't break?
I don't. They got a little bit more aggressive last week.
They did, but here's why I say statistically, they're middle of the pack in the conference in yards allowed per game. That is 306. So you say, okay, well, maybe they do one better than the other. Where are they in rushing defense? When you look at their their passing defense, middle of the pack in the conference, 203 a game. That's 6. You look at their rushing defense, middle of the pack in the conference, 102 a game. That's 6th. But you know where you find them at the top of the conference with
Scoring
Georgia?
defense.
Scoring defense.
Yeah, and
statistically, they're playing bend but don't break, but I don't really watch it and feel that way.
I can see that until last week.
Maybe.
And Tyler Watts talks about this, Talk of Champions, Disrupt the Media, like, subscribe, Roll Tide Pods there. But just how much better and disruptive the defensive linemen were against Ole Miss last week. They made penetration. They were in there not only pressuring Dart, but they were disrupting the run game in the backfield.
Yeah, and they play with confidence, and they play reckless now. Reckless in a good way, and I'm talking about physical. You take away the fourth quarter against Texas, I wonder where those numbers are.
No, I would absolutely agree. Again, that game was 16-13 going into the fourth, and what Texas ended up with, 34 points?
I think yours had like 150 yards passing in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you can't take stuff away, but you're right. If you just looked at Alabama's statistics without the fourth quarter against Texas, they might be the best defense in the country right now. And I really like Alabama in this spot. I think this is a tough spot for State. I think this will feel like Alabama's best game of the year.
Well, I've already put in, so Saturday's done, 11 plays out there, and I did not play this game.
You did not?
Yeah. It's
too tough.
To me, the offense is too unpredictable to know how many points you're going to get out of Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me that Alabama wins this game 48-14 and Jalen Milroe plays lights out, I wouldn't be surprised. But if you told me Alabama wins 23-21, they turn the ball over 3 times, I wouldn't be surprised.
Exactly. Meanwhile, LSU gets a chance to play Ole Miss. And I just talked about how good that Kevin Steele and company's defense was at disrupting Lane Kiffin's offense. Brian Kelly tells you what the Bengal Tigers have to do in Oxford, Mississippi.
They are explosive, and that's traditionally, a Lane Kiffin offense is explosive plays. They do a really good job of setting things up. They're going to run the ball and be patient and then take shots over your head. And that's what we have to be clearly aware of, and we were last year. We gave up that first couple of drives, and then I think we settled in nicely and keeping the ball in front of us. And that's really going to be the key for us again in this game is minimizing the big plays, being fundamentally sound defensively. And, again, a lot of it comes off of, the running game and the play action pass. So if you can eliminate the running game or at least control the running game, it puts you in a better position against the deep shots.
Yeah, boy, and that is so true. And we saw it last week at Alabama. You take the way Lane loves to play, you take away the run and force him to be a passing team, they're not half as good as when they can run the football.
Yeah, I kind of know what Ole Miss is, I think, now. I still don't know what LSU is. Like, I think LSU's got a ton of talent.
Yeah, but when you say you kind of know what Ole Miss is, that's not necessarily a positive.
It's not.
Yeah.
I think Ole Miss is an 8-14, but I think Ole Miss in this spot could beat LSU, another game I stayed away from. My brain and my eyes tell me LSU's a better team. I think this game will play over, but I'm completely staying away from it.
My friends at the Pants Store get you ready for the big week. I get the guy who, I think he jacked up his backyard, but the thing, get that ready for me here. The Pants Store gets you ready for game day differently than the way this guy did. He gets you, the Pants Store gets you in the gear, right? Pantstore.com, all your game day stuff, the polos, the hats, the quarter zips. Choose from famous name brands like Gentile, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Elephant Head, and Taylor and Mick. It's all right there. For the ladies as well, you can get the skirts, the rompers, the clear bags, the booties, and a lot more. Pantstore.com, anywhere in America. Pantstore.com, plus 6 locations in person: Auburn, Crestline, Hoover, Huntsville, Leeds, and Tuscaloosa. I don't know why you would do this to your yard, but this is what Brandon Parrish did right here. He made his own backyard Kinnick Stadium.
Ugh. Well, they'll score more there than Iowa does.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah. I mean, as a kid, though, how awesome would it be if your backyard looked like that?
Yep.
Got an actual line ball
I'll tell you,
football
man, they've got a cool color scheme. They've got great fans. It's just, I cannot imagine being an Iowa fan and having to watch. It reminds me, you guys remember I used to give candy to the kids for when the Rams would score a touchdown?
Yep.
Right.
And they never got to eat. They would sit there, and I felt so bad for them.
I know. Well, imagine an Iowa
So
fan.
I would ration them candy because the Rams couldn't score. And that's the same thing you got with an Iowa fan. I think that's really cool, though. I mean, it's an eyesore, but
Yeah, like that little thing across the fence on the visitor sideline there. Is that just something the neighbor built to make it like the hospital? Does everybody turn and wave at that in between quarters or something?
did you guys?
Maybe so. I hadn't even noticed
There
it
was
just now.
nothing like a good Saturday morning backyard football game
Oh,
in the neighborhood.
loved them.
And
Yep.
we had like, so in Forest Brook, I told you the sun doesn't shine there.
Yep.
But we had like 4 or 5 quality yards, but we would get run off because you're like ruining my grass.
Yeah, you wear it out in one spot.
Yeah, and they'd throw us out, and then we'd have to go to another one.
Yeah, now do a slip and slide. You talk about wearing out of grass.
no
That
doubt.
slip and slide wears it out.
We used to play in Rusty Bouchard's front yard, and it was a little bit downhill. So if you won the toss, you got to decide if you wanted to go downhill or if you wanted the ball.
Yeah.
That's the way we played it. If you got the ball, you had to go uphill, but you got the ball first.
See, this is going to be hypocritical because I used to hate the adult that wouldn't let me play in their front yard. But I don't know if I'd let a bunch of kids play in my front yard right now. I know.
Yeah, it's all about growing up. Rockstar's Playhouse every day, brought to you by Greg from Pell City in Storm Restoration Roofing. Man, if you need that free, no-cost roof inspection, you can do it at 205-542-3531. 542-3531 for that free, no-cost roof inspection. Or just look him up on Facebook. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Tyler, you got the song? You got to hit it, man.
Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play. Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play.
Hey, Rocky.
Hey, how you guys? Good? Good?
Oh,
Real
that's
good,
Dr.
good.
Lou.
Yeah. Have you ever been stressed about something where you're trying to write a bit and it's about 24 hours before you do the bit and you're going, this is going to bomb. This is not looking good. That's where I was yesterday.
Really? Dark place there?
Yeah, I had an idea. I had typed about 2 paragraphs and I'm reading over it, just reading it going, this is not funny. And then my email dings. I get a
Oh,
Yep.
and it's from God?
I look at it, and it's usually somebody like Alabama's volleyball team's looking good this month.
Right.
But it was from our boy, Champy's Hour, Mr. Sterling.
Hey,
Sterling?
Champy's Chicken. Yeah.
That's normally song lyrics.
And Sterling has like, hey, I had an idea. Use this if you want. I thought it'd be funny. And I was like, I just got bailed out. And I said, I wrote him back. I said, we are doing this tomorrow. Great job.
Wow.
And he wrote a song. And it's about gambling.
Do you remember the ones he's written so far?
He wrote Landmine to Landslide.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Meadows by Morning was
Meadows by Morning.
by Amarillo by Morning, the George Strait.
And what was Lance's?
What was yours? Do you remember?
He did a Lance one too.
I don't.
It was funny, but I can't remember.
The last one I did because I did Dunaway's first, then Brown, then Lance. I'm trying to think of what Lance's was.
It was funny, but I can't remember exactly.
I'm
what
sure
it
it was about gambling, right?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I can't remember what it was now.
Sterling, reach out to us.
Yeah, Sterling
You know my
fires a
email.
text. Yeah.
So he did The Ultimate Sin. He wrote a song you're not supposed to write funny lyrics to because it is one of the most beautiful songs. And we lost the songwriter this year.
Jimmy Buffett?
Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville.
Oh,
it was about a leaf blower. Daniel's right. It was a song about a leaf blower.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was funny, too. I remember that.
It was really good. It was really good.
So this is another tune by Sterling. It's about gambling, and it's to the tune of Margaritaville.
All right, here we go.
Betting on football, usually my cure-all. All those times I covered my rent. Playing your third string, made all my lines swing. Cost me my parlays, the money was spent. Running away again from my gambling bill. Searching for how my locks lost. Some people claim that there's a landmine to blame, but I know it's nobody's fault. Don't know the reason, I bet him all season, and nothing to show but Jim's new tattoo.
Bubbly.
Knew that was coming.
It's a real beauty, right there on his booty. Why he showed me, I haven't a clue.
Thought we were close.
Running away again from my gambling bill, searching for how my lock's lost. Some people claim that there's a landmine to blame, but I know it's all Jim's fault. One more verse.
All right.
Quit my old jock's job.
Oh, wow.
Started a new pod. Bama and Bourbon Brown drove me home. My pick's in a blender. I'm on a real bender. Alliance's locks will heave me, hold on. Everybody, you don't know the lyrics. I wasted away again from my gambling bill. Searching for how my lock's lost. Some people claim that there's a landmine to blame, but I know it's my own damn fault.
Sing the last verse again, starting where we left.
There was Shine the Light Man on stage doing Big Boys. The headliner can't play right now. He's in the dressing room. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this down a little bit. I love playing here. I love everybody.
Big ass venue.
You got a great city. I like how you kind of put me away from you guys. Quit my old jock's job. Started a new pod. Bama and Bourbon Brown drove me home. My pick's in a blender. People a lender. That no lock will hold me. Hold on, can't read it. Running away again from my gambling bill.
My bookie Phil.
Searching for how my lance is locked. Some people claim that there's a landmine to blame, but I know it's my own damn fault.
Oh. Rockstar's Playhouse, brought to you by our friend Greg from Pell City on Facebook and Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531 for that free, no-cost roof inspection. Don't forget NASCAR racing going on this weekend as well in Talladega. Get those tickets. Saturday truck race, Saturday night Hardy in concert. Maybe Rockstar is opening for him, maybe not. That Sunday ticket gets you in to see Hardy. Sunday's the Yellowwood 500. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com for tickets. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Back in a moment.
Follow John Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
The Next Round golf cart is back and is presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Cart for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at New Life Art. Daniel A. Moore has completed his original full-color oil painting honoring Bryce Young Alabama's 4th Heisman Trophy winner. This painting depicts the memorable Heisman-worthy go-ahead pinpoint pass to John Mechie in the corner of the end zone as the Tide dismantled the vaunted Georgia defense in the SEC championship game this past year. Use code TNR for 15% off. You can order online at danielmooreart.com. The next round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
This is the trash segment. We'll get to LT's trash coming up here in just a second. A lot of comments over there. Sterling, great job, says RTD4. Bobby Sterling, you're a genius. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, if you want to see what Sterling's really good at. And that's doing a fantastic restaurant. That's Sterling right there. Highway 119 in Alabaster brings you the 11 o'clock hour every day. Deep Southern fried chicken, cooked to order, hand-cut chicken fingers, and Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It's our friends at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Brown.
You've referenced a couple times the Chris Lowe column about the impending death of the annual Alabama-Mississippi State game. Would you qualify this as a game you were sad to see go? And Lance asked you earlier, too, about that 1980 game. I would be curious your thoughts on that. It was a devastating loss for Alabama.
It was 1980.
Uh-huh.
And, I was a kid. Upset loss. Alabama had won back-to-back national championships. And it was one of those times where you talked about playing football in the yard. You'd go play football in the yard. And
yep.
Sometimes you wouldn't even, it wasn't on TV. Sometimes you didn't even pay attention. You just come in and ask how much Alabama won.
Right. And that day they didn't. Right?
No. You end up, the family would call you in, hey, come by the radio. Alabama's losing.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
But are you sad to see this go? I mean,
not really.
It's I mean, I'm
when I read about it, yes. But not really.
I do think it's weird that Alabama will not play the Mississippi schools next year. That is an oddity. But I can't say that those are like two games that I'm going to say, God, I am so sad Alabama's not playing Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't really know how to feel about it. I think Mississippi State and Ole Miss fans probably hate it more than Alabama or Auburn fans do if these go away. I don't know, man. It's just not one. I'm a respecter of the history of college football, but this is a little bit like Bedlam to me. You talk about how good a rivalry Bedlam is. Just because two teams are close geographically and play a lot doesn't make it a good rivalry. I've never thought Bama and State's a good rivalry.
The show today being brought to you in part by Mortgage Right. They bring you trash every day. Rockstar, get ready, man. Hit it.
transferred Miss Caroline.
I asked to request to speak when you were talking.
You're not going to talk. That's
Let me
it.
tell you something. You were out of order when you stuck your hand up my daughter's shirt. So let's.
You can't be saying that.
You need to leave the meeting.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. 205-815-9200 or online mortgageright.com/TNR NMLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender. Start with some offbeat holidays in October. Next Thursday, October 7th, Bald and Free Day.
Jim, you're both.
I am, yes.
You got to celebrate it. You got one day to do it.
So it's not like with the Eagles or anything like that. It's about humans who are bald and free.
Yeah, just people that lack the hair.
Yeah, Rockstar, you.
I celebrate. I am very, very close.
You're very bald and free.
Yeah.
I know Rocky doesn't like this next one. Saturday, October 9th is Moldy Cheese Day. I like blue cheese.
Awful.
Not a big fan either, Rockstar.
Blue cheese.
You hate feta.
No, I hate blue cheese too. But feta is the absolute worst. But I don't know if I can't do feta, I probably can't do the other stinky cheeses.
You say feta smells like feet.
It smells like toe cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know what toe cheese smells like.
I smell some feta.
Rockstar would say feta.
Yeah.
I can't believe he smelled them both.
You've had some toes in your mouth.
I have. I haven't come across any cheese.
I'll tell you what, though.
Some chocolate-covered strawberries and toes.
You know what I normally do? Like, I like a good wedge salad. I
do
like
too.
a wedge. I don't know
do
why. I like a wedge. And
So what do you do about the blue
though?
cheese?
Yeah.
I get ranch. I just ask them to hold the blue cheese.
Some restaurants won't do that for you.
Oh, well, then I don't get the wedge. I just don't. I'd rather have Thousand Island on a wedge than blue cheese.
Monday, October 11th, National Take Your Parents to Lunch Day. That was the only good thing about doing mornings is I was able to go to lunch with Jack 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah, I'm missing one coming up, and there was some disappointment there, but,
Don't miss it. Just
it's going to
go.
work.
Tuesday, October 12th, National Gumbo Day.
I like gumbo. Now, I'm a light roux guy.
See, I'm a dark roux guy.
I'm in the minority on this one.
You guys
I think
said
I'm light too, and I don't like fish in it, crab. So just put some chicken gumbo.
So you're like a chicken and sausage.
chicken and
gumbo,
sausage. Yeah, I like it better. So the one at Coastal, you guys said was the best ever, right?
Yep, and it was a lighter roux.
Yep, I'm a light roux seafood guy. I like seafood gumbo light roux.
Thursday, October 14th, National Dessert Day.
I could celebrate that day every day. What's your favorite?
Dessert?
Yep.
It goes between cookies, ice cream, and brownies. Those
Okay,
two.
Rockstar cannot narrow it down. He's got most of the desserts.
I just had a cookie ice cream brownie in the back.
Cookie with ice cream, a brownie with ice cream, or oh my God, there's just so many things.
I don't know if I can narrow it down. I mean, I like pie a lot, but I like that strawberry cake from Edgar's.
Oh, so good.
There's a banana pudding that I love from the New York Butcher Shop.
I love banana pudding.
And what was the thing that we got from the New York Butcher Shop?
Yep.
The banana bread? No, it wasn't. But
Yeah, it
yes,
was
walnut banana.
It was
the rum,
bourbon walnut banana bread.
I was in there and he said, man, y'all talked about that on the show, and I cannot keep it in stock. He's like, everybody's coming in here now asking about this
It's
stuff.
that good. I ate the entire loaf literally by myself.
Yeah.
Now, that was the help of an edible, but God, it was so good.
You're too literal.
Tuesday, October 17th, Wear Something Gaudy Day.
I don't know that I ever dress gaudy, do I? I mean, I guess Dolphins colors are a bit gaudy. So Victory Mondays when I wear my Dolphins
What do you
gear.
think about that quarter zip?
It's pretty muted right here. Anniston Country Club representing Jimmy D, home city there.
Steve Harvey's going to love October 17th.
What is it?
Family Feud Day.
No, that's Wear Something Gaudy Day. October 24th, National Bologna Day.
I could leave or take bologna. It's just not a big thing for me.
I
liked it when I was a little kid.
It can be too thick.
Yeah, I agree. There's a place that does a thick cut bologna sandwich, and I ordered it not realizing just how thick the cut was. And when it came, I was like, okay, that's a lot of bologna right there.
You guys raved about the one at Puckett's. And so I tried it one time, and it was a little too thick for me.
It is too thick.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Because I like it a little thinner, a little crispier.
Yeah. Michael over in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room, did I stop doing Jenny's ice cream? I have for a while, but their salted caramel is, it is legit.
It is.
Yep.
So this is an update, Rocky. Do you remember how Taylor Swift is having someone, they're just going to be basically her Pedro Gomez?
Yeah, they're going to cover them on a daily basis.
Yeah, for the Tennessean, right, in Nashville?
And the USA Today Network.
All right, gotcha.
Which includes the Tennessee.
Right.
Yeah, USA Today, parent Gannett made headlines earlier this month when it posted 2 unusual jobs, not just Taylor Swift, but Beyonce reporters. 2 weeks, the publisher received close to 1,000 applications for the jobs, including From Emmy award-winning journalist and influencer whose Beverly Hills agent reached out about the job, and a reporter who currently works at the White House.
The White House. I'm going to trade in the White House beat for Taylor Swift.
I would take it in a heartbeat.
I think I would too, Rockstar.
I do not want to cover the White House.
Well, I mean, this one probably
awful.
I think this is kind of an easy job.
I don't know how easy it is, but I do think it's secure, don't you? I mean, Taylor Swift is not going anywhere.
Well, and you've got a million different things of content. It's all going to be pretty much positive. You get to travel around. It's a pretty damn good job.
Yeah.
Both job listings require applicants to provide a video cover letter, and plenty decided to get creative to stand out from the crowd. Fans flock to social media platforms to make their case for the gigs, promote the postings to followers, and see how this one ends. Now, the Taylor Swift Beyonce postings provoked eye rolls in some corners of social media, with some even wondering if the jobs were real. Now, Kristen Roberts, who recently became Gannett's Media's chief content officer, said the publisher has hired 260 journalists and is filing more than 100 open roles since she took over.
I heard two things. I was listening to Rick and Bubba on the way in to work today and heard two things about Taylor Swift from them. Number one was, we had talked about how they're anticipating this could be the biggest Sunday night viewing audience of all time for a Sunday night game, more than 30 million people, which is the number now. Bubba said that he saw a story that ticket prices went up like 40% after she announced she was going to be there.
Just be in the stadium.
Just her announcing she's going to be in the stadium.
She's not singing, nothing.
Just going to be there. Ticket prices went up 40% just on that announcement.
Yep.
And that apparently Travis Kelce's ex is the lover scorned, and she did some interview dogging out Travis Kelce about how manipulative he was and stuff like that.
Oh, my God, it's a football game.
Hey, listen though. And now she's getting death threats from Swifties.
God.
Which I'm sure would scare the crap out of you, right?
Again,
but at least it comes in a friendship bracelet, Rockstar, where they put the beads in order to say you will die.
I'm going to kill you.
This is fabricated.
Even if it's Elvis Beatles-like, the
No,
craziness around her.
It is,
yes.
but again, the NFL is now going Toy Story to bring in the kids.
Right.
They are trying to really just get this audience.
And USA Today, Gannett, and the Tennessean are trying to save their skin.
Trying to
bring anybody that listens to these two superstars' music.
But seriously, is there...
What are those fish that swim around sharks?
Plankton?
No, the Amoras.
The little teeny tiny fish.
I think they're Amoras.
Basically, they swim around with the shark, and when the shark eats, like you, Lance, the little pieces of you that fall off, they eat that.
Yeah.
This is what USA Today, Gannett, and the Tennesseans doing. They're trying to eat what falls off of Taylor Swift and Beyonce.
But is there anybody else in the world, genuine question here, if they announced, I'm going to the Jets-Packers game, ticket prices go up 40%. I don't think there's anybody else in the world.
No. In fact, nowadays, the president, no matter which side of it, the extra security and stuff makes you sell your tickets.
Yeah, it's a bigger headache.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't go to the first Georgia-Alabama matchup in the national championship.
Complete disaster, 2017, when President Trump was
when
there.
I heard he was going with bad weather, I stayed at the hotel.
Because they closed half of the entrance ways for security reasons.
Yeah.
Yep. And then again, when he was at Alabama LSU, it was a little better.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad, but still.
It was crazy.
Yeah, and I assume this will be the exact same. Or close.
I don't know. You guys don't want me to roll up my sleeves and show you my Swiftie tattoo and get into the. There was video of her entering the stadium. There was no video of her leaving the stadium. Like she walked past some photographers when she was leaving with Kelce. When it was
you know who had that one shot? You know who was rolling on that?
Who?
Walter Payton's kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he works for
Jared Payton?
WGN in Chicago. Knew she was coming, so he was waiting.
With the phone. So they got that one little short, 5-second clip of them walking by, but there's video of Kelce leaving the arena, and there's video of people pushing a popcorn cart and machine out and loading it into the back of a van.
And they think that was her?
And they think that she was hiding in the popcorn stuff.
Because isn't that how
that
how they sneak her up on the stage?
Somebody got a recording of it. There's 3 guys carrying wheeling this thing in, and you see her come out of it.
She's in it. So that's the way she left Arrowheads in a popcorn maker.
The Swifties conspiracy is,
Again, they didn't leave together.
Yeah,
because they left in a car together.
People were, he walked out.
Yeah,
she apparently got rolled out.
So we've got
a nice little buttery finish.
Auto
smell funny.
Technician at a Myrtle Beach, South Carolina car dealership got the surprise of his life when he opened the hood of a Ford Focus and found an 8-foot serpent inside.
Yeah, if I were president, you'd have to burn that car on the spot right there. Nothing but ashes. You got to show me proof that it burned completely to ashes. You can't sell off any of the parts. You can't retrieve anything from the car. I apologize for your personal loss there, but you got to burn it.
I guess it gets in under the.
I had it one time in high school. I had a big snake because I remember somebody I had parked a car and somebody noticed that you have something dangling from your front of your car, and I saw that it was a
snake.
A snake.
Yeah.
It was dead, but
as it starts gets colder this time of year, and they have not gone wherever they go in the wintertime, somewhere in the ground. They use the heat of your engine. They crawl up in there when it's stopped and try to stay alive.
But you've heard those stories of somebody hitting a snake, driving down the road. The snake gets thrown up into the wheel well, and then it comes up into the car.
Into the air conditioner.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about
in the actual car. Yeah,
in the actual car.
I've seen video at least of it coming through the air conditioner vents.
Yeah.
Like it's somehow, I don't know if that's legit.
You think that would cause a wreck?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How'd they get on the plane, though?
I know. I plowed a possum on the way to work today. I mean, just
today?
Did you get a number?
Flat killed it.
I mean, you got possum meat and
I
blood
do,
all up
on the
your
undercarriage. I tried to straddle it, and what?
The way their eyes light up when you pass them.
I tried to straddle that thing, and I straddled it, and I heard boom, boom. Yeah.
Did you look back?
Yeah, I saw it rolling. The highway. Wow. I mean, what you gonna do? I mean,
we've got
have a funeral.
Do you have a picture of this, Rocky? $5,600 pair of underwear. I think it's muumuu, sequin, silk, and wool underwear.
Taylor Swift wears that every night.
Pair of undergarments in the world.
And it's called muumuu?
MIU, whatever that.
Does it do anything for me or for her, or is it just good looking?
It impresses people.
Oh, yeah.
It impressed me.
Can't tell you how impressed I am.
Would you be nervous taking these off with your teeth?
Yeah, I don't want it to jam up my grill.
Okay, so we've got AI photos show what dead celebs would look like if they were still alive. Rocky's going to show them. We're going to guess them.
You sure it was pronounced muumuu or hoo-hoo?
Wow.
No idea.
So you got to get used to this AI thing.
It's not going away.
There's so many news stories or something like that where they do this AI thing. And of course, you're going to recognize the first one. This thing is, what if these celebrities were still alive today?
Okay. All right.
What would they look
so
like?
we're not going to have names here. We got to guess who these
are.
are.
The first one, you're
right.
awful. Don't look.
Oh, don't look. Look away. All right.
There's no way you can guess this.
Johnny Cash.
It does look a little Johnny Cash.
It does. It looks a little Harvey Keitel.
Yeah, but there's another actor, too. Dog it.
Al Pacino?
You're not getting this. Look at it.
It's Elvis.
Yeah, it's
with
Elvis.
the coat. I see the jacket.
He would be 98 years old, I think.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, I think Elvis would look different. I got to be honest with you. That's Princess Diana.
I didn't think I was going to get that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, easy. The hair.
See, here's what AI doesn't take into account: how much plastic surgery Princess Diana would have had. So there's no way she looks like.
Oh,
she'd had zero.
Oh,
You're out of your mind.
She was pure.
Yeah.
She was no Meghan Markle.
So do you know that she was in talks to do The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner before Whitney Houston took it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she would have plenty of plastic surgery.
So I mean, this is
just like that.
This is no plastic surgery, Princess Diana. So maybe so.
She was a candle in a freaking wind. She wouldn't have had plastic surgery.
That's what I've heard.
Oh, that is the guy from Queen.
Yeah. He's still sporting the tank top.
Is he in the circus?
Holding on to this mustache. It looks like those old weightlifters from
I
the
know,
20s.
I know.
I think he would have got his teeth done by now.
You think so?
I think that guy's grill's low, so I think he's got his teeth bound. And then you got, there we go.
Oh, wow.
If she were alive, Marilyn Monroe?
That's correct.
Wow.
I think she'd be 100, maybe?
Can you tell I spent some time on TikTok? I think I've seen it.
And you know what would happen? They would do like a Playboy's 75th anniversary, and they'd have her laying naked on some bed somewhere.
Yikes.
Marilyn looks tired.
Yeah.
I bet.
Again,
she would have Wilt Chamberlain numbers by now.
How old will Marilyn be now?
She'd be in her hundreds, I think.
God, it seems like she'd be way older than that.
It does.
She's been dead a long time. How young was she when she died?
Like 28.
Was she?
When she was killed?
No, I think she was in her 30s.
Okay.
She's probably 33.
Oh, I thought she OD'd. Are you going conspiracy theory?
She OD'd in her bed, and that was took too many sedatives or something like that. That's the story.
Are you going Kennedy family?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're telling me I'm closer to Marilyn Monroe than I am to Google? Nah.
If you think about it like that.
Yeah, if you think about it like that.
Yeah. Well, interesting.
Wow.
97? Who? Marilyn Monroe?
Wow.
Yeah, 97. Good stuff there. that it?
That's it.
That's trash, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Buying a home, major milestone in life, getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. 2 locations, one in Leeds, one Highway 280 in Birmingham, 205-815-9200 or online, mortgageright.com/TNR.
Stan is right. Marilyn Monroe looked like the old bat from Titanic that dropped the necklace.
She was not a fun lady.
No.
Yeah.
Dropped the necklace.
All right, when we come back, we'll give you our pick 3, update you on the leaderboard and all that. You can play the Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3 by going right now to nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com, and look for the Buffalo Wild Wings logo and play there. Over 100 winners. Got a ball in the bucket last week, more balls in the bucket. You got a better chance of winning the lottery at the end of the year. Got to get at least one ball in the bucket, though, to have a chance to win the big prize from our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings coming up at the end of the year. Show also being brought to you by our friends at Hydra Live LT. They're here.
They are here. Lacey's out in the lobby.
You better get bagged?
There's 3 bags going out there right now. There's B12 shots all over. You're getting a B12, right?
I'm getting a B12.
I'm getting a bag. I can't wait. IV
I
therapy.
really need a B24. Does she do that?
She's got to watch out there. B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy. It's all under one roof. Open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. If you can't get out, not a big deal. Nurses like Lacey can come to your place of business or home. For more information, hydrolifetherapy.com, and mention Next Round at checkout, 20% off any service.
Are you going to do it in here for the final 17 minutes? You're going to wait till after the show to get your bag?
I'm going to ask her what her schedule is.
Okay, we got about 17 minutes of fun picks and pick 3 talk when we come back right here on TNR.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The Next Round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in Cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store. Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
All All right, Rockstar's got the song ready to go. LT is getting hooked up with our friends at Hydra Live. It says TNR in the netting up there, or on the bag there. I like that.
Oh, we got customized bags now, Lacey.
Yeah.
Good job. Look at Lacey.
Wow. Hey, tell us about
what is lithium?
Hey, wait, just like what's in the bag?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's in the bag?
Get on the mic, Lacey.
What's in the bag?
Don't be afraid of the mic. Closer,
there's-
closer. Right there. There you go.
There's B12 for energy, and then you've got some thiamine in there, which also gives you energy and it's anti-stress.
Right.
So that's good
So
to
you're
have.
saying Lance is low energy and high stress?
I mean,
is that
I
what
see
you're
who
saying
he's
about Lance?
surrounded by. So.
Pretty accurate, yeah.
Right.
Hell, I need that bag.
And then since it's respiratory flu season, I thought it'd be good to give you guys like an immunity defensive bag. So there's
Right.
defensive blend in there, and then there's vitamin C in there, like a high
Wow.
dose.
So do you mix this yourself?
I custom make this bag, yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah. Every time I give you guys some good custom made bag, yeah.
Aw,
I wish I got in a bag now.
I know. Do you have a
Well,
bag for
that
Jim?
good
Can you
stuff.
bag Jim?
We're gonna do B12 shot for him.
What's that do for
Because
you?
he said he doesn't like the IVs.
I don't.
That's
but
a bigger poke.
I didn't
so.
know you had all that crap in there. That
Yeah.
sounds great. I need all that stuff.
This is what I've been telling you guys.
Yeah. So what do we do with the B12 shot? That just makes Jim feel better?
Yeah, that just gives you a boost of energy.
Oh, okay.
So I can't just like cut the little slot off the top of that bag and drink it. It won't work, will it?
No, that would probably taste terrible.
So
I'd
the
pee it
audience,
right out.
the audience, and Jim, Rockstar, and Lance can tell you, I've been hacking up a lung for a week. Would the B12 help me on that? You think? I'm probably on the back side of
That'll
it.
just give you some energy. But
Yeah.
if you're feeling kind of sick, I would suggest our defensive blend and vitamin C, which is in these bags.
I feel
So-
great. I'm just hacking up this lung, man.
Well, you probably don't need some B12. You got a lot of energy.
Should I quit smoking?
That would be good.
Yeah. All right, there you go. That is Hydra Live. The show also being brought to you by our great friends at Odie's. Tell us about our friends at Odie's.
2 locations now. You know, the original in Crestline Village. Now there's one in Homewood right there off of Broadway on the corner and Oxmoor Road. Great food from Rodney Davis for over 30 years. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. Get into one of those 2 locations. Live music Friday and Saturday night. It's Odie's Tavern.
Our friend Jace wants to know, do you consider yourself a bag tender instead
like
of
it.
a bartender?
Yeah. Lacey's our bag tender.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird, but okay.
Yeah, it does sound weird.
It does have a little pork up. Yeah. Now that I think of it.
Now that I get in there a little bit more.
The old bag tender.
Yeah, bag tender.
I'd pass on that if I were Lacey.
Do you date her? No, she's my bag tender.
Apparently, I've got shoes on for the old bag tender, so it works out good. All right, ready for the pick 3?
Yeah, I am.
Before we hit the open, before we hit the song, let's do the scoreboard. We got a scoreboard.
Yeah. I don't even know what I was last week, Jimmy.
I updated the score, so this is correct.
Ooh,
correct.
I lost the lead.
LT is up to 6-6.
Were you 3-0? Yeah,
he
what was I, 2-1?
You were 2-1.
Yeah.
And I was 1-2 again. So I slide in 3-9, which means I'll go first. Brown's 5-7. LT though, I'm still just one possession behind him. If he goes
You
0-3 and 3-0, so I'm still in the hunt. And it's brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. We will hear about Buffalo Wild Wings after Rockstar plays the song.
Pick 3, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
I've now wrestled the shirt up for no reason. She walked out. Will you yell for her to come back?
Intimidated.
Yeah, she was. She was like, my God, look at that arm.
Speaking of Python.
Is that Python?
Are you in an engine?
She's attended bags that are bigger.
Yeah.
Bobby is right. The landmine is at 75%.
That's right. If you're fading Dunaway,
That's right.
You're 75% winner.
You're making a fortune this season.
Hey, you just gotta play it right.
Hey,
right.
listen, mybookie.ag code next round, fade Dunaway.
Hey,
code
and-
next round, get 110% sign-on bonus this week.
Hey, and the upset alert is unbeaten. 100%
I know.
on Tuesdays.
I mean, if you put all Jim's picks together, it's pretty incredible.
Hey, listen, I just have to keep playing my system.
Yeah.
I don't try to change it. I just play my system. Buffalo Wild Wings brings you this segment. Have you already said that?
I have not told you about our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Now's
but
the time you do it.
You have said it. Yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings. Right now, it's just a great place to watch football. 11 Central Alabama locations, including the new Buffalo Wild Wings Go location in Vestavia. They've been the number 1 sports bar in Birmingham for over 20 years. Wall-to-wall TVs, 26 sauces and seasonings, along with a full menu of great burgers, wraps, and salads. Get into one of those locations this weekend of Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay, here's my plays this week. If you want to fade them, be careful, Bobby, because I always get one ball in the bucket. Little power, little upset here. I like Clemson on the road at the not Carrier Dome now, -6.5 against Syracuse.
Is there a worse naming right still than whoever took that one over?
No,
I don't know one person that knows the name of the stadium.
Always the Carrier Dome.
Yep.
Isn't it some kind of afterlife care? Not afterlife care.
That would be heaven.
He's good. He's all right.
We're
I
playing
just
in
checked
the,
on him Tuesday.
That would be the easiest job in the world, right? I mean, I'm in the afterlife care.
We're playing in the Hell Dome.
Yeah. It's something to do with the afterlife, though. Something like
right,
your investments or something after you die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
You finish up, and it's the JMA Wireless Dome. It's got nothing to do with afterlife.
There you go.
Nothing to do.
Yeah.
Unless you're calling for the grave.
-6.5. I like Clemson there to continue what they did last week, play well. Look for Shipley and Maffa. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yep.
To run the ball all through Syracuse. Easy W there. Texas A&M -6.5 against Arkansas. I believe in Max Headroom. I think he gets out there and plays really well against the Hogs. I think the Hogs have an offensive line problem and more sacks coming the way of KJ Jefferson. Give me the Aggies in that one. And then Talia Tagovailoa, really, really interesting. Mike Locksley, Maryland against Indiana. I think Indiana scaring Ohio State early on was just a proof in the pudding that this is a pretty good little defense. I think they keep it within 14.5, lose the game, but keep it close against the Fighting Terrapins of Mike Locksley.
I don't know if Scott ever had it on the sheet, but there was a random moment at the coaches show for the Indiana coach.
Tom Allen?
Tom Allen. This guy walks up. Scott tweeted it out. This guy walks up. You know, they do the questions from the audience.
Yep.
And he gets the microphone, and he goes on this long tangent about how he used to be a high school coach, and he's a season ticket holder. And they don't like your offensive coordinator's play calling in my section, but it's a business. I just want to remind you, it's a business. And then walks away. And he says, it's a business. I just want to remind you, it's a business. I just wanted to make myself clear on that. I'm like, really, you didn't clear anything up at all. I don't have the first clue what you're talking about.
So what did Tom Allen say?
Well, it cut after that, but he was just kind of sitting there smiling and shaking his head like, I don't have a clue what this guy's talking about.
Yeah. Or it's a business. Y'all going to buy me out? Pay that money?
And pay that money to buy out the OC? I don't know. It's a weird moment on the coaches show, though.
What do you have, Brownie?
I got the Dukies +5.5. I like them to win straight up. We don't need those 5.5. Had it been 1 point bigger, it would have been the Brown Bandit play. I was praying that it would get up to 6.5 so I could play it for the Brown Bandit. It did not. Duke +5.5. They win this game outright. Pitt is -2.5 at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has not been very good. Pitt has been a little bit disappointing. But -2.5, I like Pitt in that situation.
Ugly game. I would not watch that one if.
If it's in my backyard, I'd tell them to shut up. But I'm looking for wins.
If I was on death row and that was the only college game I'd get to watch before I went to meet my maker, I'd say pass.
In the JMA Wireless Dome,
I'd say flip the switch.
Make sure that thing's plugged in if you don't mind. SMU -23.5. Give me Southern Methodist as well -23.5.
Who are they playing?
They're playing Charlotte. Biff Poggi, the guy that likes to coach in gym shorts and a cutoff sleeve shirt.
Just played it to 22,
Okay.
22-7
Well,
against Florida.
MyBookie.ag. If you want you a little bit of Charlotte plus the 23.5, you can have it, my friend.
Fade Brown.
Big matchup in Austin, Texas, where Kansas pulled the upset in overtime 2 years ago. They're not going to sneak up on this Texas team. This Texas team is legitimate. They will play a full 4 quarters. Big number here, -15.5. I like Texas against Kansas, and I do like this Kansas team, but I think Texas way too much. I agree with Brown. I like Duke +5.5. I think they win the game outright. I think they're the better team.
Stake bet implications. I got Notre Dame straight up in that one.
Yeah, and I've got
from the offseason, right? That was way back in the summer.
Yeah.
Tennessee -12.5. Big Joe Milton game against Spencer Rattler.
Upset alert.
This is
implications.
A revenge game here.
Yeah.
Remember, South Carolina cost him a spot in the playoff last year.
Well, I mean, how long does it take Tennessee to get revenge? It took 15 years on Alabama.
Right, it ain't going to take long on South Carolina. You get it in 15 minutes.
You can go play your games all the way up until kickoff on Saturday with the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3 at nextroundlive.com. Nextroundlive.com. LT, tell us one more time about our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings and our friends at Hydra Life.
Yeah, that new Buffalo Wild Wings Go location in Vestavia is just a scaled-down version of full-size Buffalo Wild Wings. Counter service offering takeout and delivery. Still, you have the option to dine in and enjoy the games with over 40 seats and multiple TVs.
All right, Brown, take us to the moment you were talking about on the Indiana Coaches Show, brought to you by our friends at CommunityGuru.com.
What do you think CommunityGuru.com? Oh, that's cars.
Oh.
Cars. CommunityCars.com.
Yeah, okay.
So to show you how great Scott is, I reference it. He's already got it ready to go. This was from the Tom Allen Coaches Show. See if this makes any sense whatsoever to you. Here it was earlier this week.
Okay, my name is Harold Simpson. I'm from Bloomington, Indiana, and Coach knows I've been to shows over and over again. Coach also knows that I've not been up here ever asking a question.
So are you nervous or what?
I'm nervous. I don't like being here at all because I coached football for 10 years and played 7 years of semi-pro football and, of course, did my high school career. So
we got a background.
I don't like being up here, but my section, all right, is extremely unhappy, and since I'm the biggest yeller in the stadium, okay, screamer, they are unhappy with the play calling, Coach, all right? And I'm going to tell you, to a man, they love you, all right? So my statement is, it's a business. And and you understand what I'm saying, okay? Because you're the coach, and we love you, all right? But it's a business. So we wanted to make that statement clear. Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun.
I got it.
He's saying he wants you to fire the. We love you. We don't like the offensive coordinator. We want you to fire the play caller.
Yep.
Just say it then.
That's what it is.
Why we got to talk in code? It's a business.
By the way, Tom Allen can't get fired.
Oh, no, he's got a huge buyout. Good agents and cashed in after a really good year for them. I agree with Jace, how Tom Allen didn't roll his eyes on the I coached high school and played semi-pro ball.
The other dude did. The dude that was hosting the show.
Play guy?
Yeah, he goes, we get it.
Yeah, let's move on there, Hoss. We only got the restaurant for an hour.
Yeah.
Cue up Glory Days, right?
Yeah.
Glory Days.
They are a hard watch, though, Indiana is.
They are, but their defense is better than they were last year. I think that's a competitive game against Maryland this week. A couple of things I didn't get into. We've heard earlier Chris Lowe now confirming Deontay Lawson out for a while. A few weeks, I think, is the way Chris Lowe reports at ESPN.com. We had said earlier this week, maybe Tennessee before you see Deontay Lawson back. Terrence Ferguson as well is likely out. He's the depth guy, offensive line for Alabama. When someone takes a break, a rest, or gets nicked up a little bit, it's Ferguson who goes in and sort of fills in there and does that. We talked coaches earlier. Do you feel like the honeymoon phase is over for Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame after the 10 men episode last week?
I mean, I wouldn't say the honeymoon phase. That's a really good Ohio State team that they lost to. You saw somebody over in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room, and I said, I think Notre Dame fans probably would rather have Mike Elko. He said, absolutely not. So Marcus Freeman's a good face for that program, and I still think he's a young coach that's learning the ropes.
Yeah, he probably got this job a little bit before he was ready to have the job.
I would agree.
It was extenuating circumstances with Brian Kelly leaving for LSU that got him the job.
Michigan, since they started their run in 2021, they've won at Ohio State, at Wisconsin, at Penn State. They've now won 8 road wins inside the Big Ten. On the road at Lincoln, their first road trip of the year this week. You think it's an easy win for Michigan?
I do, yes.
Yeah, that's coming up this weekend, of course. And we talked a little bit about Utah as they play tonight. And can they score enough points with no Cam Rising again? That going a little bit tonight. So there you go. That's the show today. Much more of Disrupt the Media coverage coming up here at the top of the hour.
War Down Pod's Village Vice is what is next here. Jimmy D, get a little Auburn and Georgia talk.
All right. And don't forget everything at Disrupt the Media, War Down Pods, Roll Tide Pods. Like and subscribe there. We're back with you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central with our kickoff show. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Game day is creeping up on us, Zach.
Yes.
It's almost here. Auburn and Georgia, Deep South's oldest rivalry. Zach Blackerby on the left, Brad Law on the right, or closer to the middle. Whatever. This is Village Vice, and we're glad that you're watching. Thank you for that. We really mean that. Let's talk, Zach. How does Auburn beat Georgia? Plain and simple. How do they do it? If you're trying to develop the offensive and defensive game plans, I've got some talking points, some bullet points, some stats. Sure. Some info, but just generally, how do you start? If we put you back in the room with the coaches Sunday, Monday, How do you develop a game plan to beat the number one team in the country, a team that has not lost since like a long time ago?
Yeah, you have to run the football, Brad. You have to get Jarquez Hunter involved. You have to get Brian Batty involved. You have to get Jeremiah Cobb involved. And boy, it would be nice to have Damari Alston, but it sounds like it's going to be a minute till we see him toting the rock for Auburn again, which stinks. That is awful for several different reasons. Most importantly being Damari worked his tail off.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get to reap the benefits of it until probably next year. So that stinks. But Auburn's got to run the football. And not only do you have to run the football, you have to get your running backs involved early in several different aspects of the game. You have to make them feel comfortable. You've got to make Georgia focus on your running backs. I don't care if it's in the running game. I don't care if it's in the short passing game, the screen game, whatever it is. You have to let these guys be the heroes of the offense this week.
I agree, and I have some numbers that would support that. Would you like to hear them?
I knew you would, Brad. Hit me with them.
All right. Now, these first few numbers are going to sound like, man, they're the Monstars on defense. They're actually the Monstars on the offensive line, but we're going to get to that. That's a Space Jam reference, Zach.
Can I tell you something embarrassing?
Oh, I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
I've never seen Space Jam all the way through. I've tried it several times, Brad.
Yeah.
Just never hooked me. I've watched the first 30 minutes a bunch. It's just not good. It's not a good movie.
How many times do you give a movie before you just go, no, like,
if it's one that I feel like I culturally need to watch to be like part of society, several apparently, because I think Space Jam's one of those. But yeah, I've just never gotten there. So.
Okay. All right. I knew you hadn't seen it. That's why I said that was a movie. All right. So
I love how little faith you have in me. Go ahead.
I just know you. Okay. UAB's running backs ran the ball 16 times for 60 yards, less than 4 yards a carry. The long run for the Blazers was 19 yards, but that was the quarterback. The week before that, South Carolina's running backs ran the ball 8 times for 19 yards, less than 2.5 a carry. Long run was 13 by the quarterback, Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
So you say, well, teams just aren't running the ball against Georgia. Right. Georgia's run defense is 4th in the SEC, 87 yards a game. Here's the thing, though. They're giving up 3.48 yards per carry. I know these are a lot of numbers, but hang with me. 3.5 yards a carry. That's 10th in the league. So only 4 teams have allowed more yards per carry than Georgia. The issue has been that every team they've faced, with the exception of South Carolina in the first half, has been trailing. Therefore, no team in the league has defended fewer rushing attempts than Georgia. No team has more rushing attempts than Auburn. So can Auburn have some success if they will be patient, continue to hammer, continue to push, continue to stick with and believe in the running game, and believe that if you keep it close to the fourth quarter, maybe the dam breaks, because this is a Georgia team that hasn't had to defend the run all that. Compared to the other teams in the league, they haven't defended it as much.
Yeah, and I also think there's another element of why the running game for Auburn is so important on Saturday. One, do you remember in the 2013 Iron Bowl? And sure, we all remember the kick six, and we all remember, Nick Marshall's pass to Sammy to tie it up and all that, which is great. But there was a moment, Brad, with a few minutes left to go in the first half, and nobody really talks about this when they talk about this game, and it's an important part of it.
Change the game.
Auburn realized they could run against Alabama.
Yeah.
And all week, they're like, this rushing attack, this Malzahn rushing attack can't run against Alabama. And so Auburn believed them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we saw a little bit of that against Texas A&M last week, where it's like, all right, A&M's front seven so good, Auburn's going to have to pass the ball. And then 2 or 3 series in, they start running it, and then they kind of moved away from it. But they had success running the football. I think it's a similar thing with Georgia. On paper, they are better than you at virtually every aspect of the game. But make them prove to you that you can't run it on them before you go to anything else. And look, this coaching staff, so far, they've had it seems like they felt good about their plan A, and then the plan B hasn't come in quick enough. And so make plan A running the football, and then use your plan B after a few series if you don't feel like that dam can break.
Yeah.
Use the verbiage you just used. But the other aspect of why running the ball is so important on Saturday for Auburn is it's only a matter of time until this Georgia offense gets going. We've talked about how they start slow, but then they get going, and it's like a train. It's really, really hard to stop because you can't cover all of the 5 stars at once. Shorten the game as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
If Auburn offense, give your defense as few snaps that they have to play on the defensive side of the ball as possible. That's how Auburn beats Georgia on Saturday if they're going to do it.
I agree completely. You have to take advantage of the clock rules and shorten the game. You can't give this offense that, by the way, Carson Beck passed for 330 plus yards against UAB. I get it was UAB and not Auburn's defense, but still, you can't give the offense 12 possessions. You have to limit them to like 7. Yeah. Yeah, 7 would be
with
great.
These clock rules, these clock rules, it's possible.
Absolutely. Now, they are like 3rd in the league in number of first downs. They will hold the ball. They don't mind being patient. But yeah, limit the number of possessions that they get. Defensively, do you like Auburn in man or do you like them in zone? The reason I ask that is that offensive line really is the Monstars. Every player on their offensive line, the starting line, I just haven't looked at the depth, but their starting offensive linemen, 4-star or better, top 10 in his state, top 4 or 5, and 4 out of the 5 were top 5 at their position nationally coming out. 3 of them were offensive tackles. They've only given up 4 sacks, tied for the fewest allowed in the league. So you're not consistently going to beat them off the edge. You're not going to do it with your linemen. You're going to have to bring exotic pressure. So how often are you comfortable leaving your DBs in man one-on-one matchups and hope that the exotic pressure that you bring gets home and tries to rattle this guy making his first start on the road?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Georgia feels as good about their wide receivers as they typically do, which is weird because they're all very decorated players coming into this season, but they haven't really done it yet. And some of that may be quarterback play, and some of that may be Mike Bobo's the offensive coordinator. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of aspects to make an offense run. Boy, have we figured that out the hard way. And I think Auburn's DBs are fine against the receivers. I don't think it matters if it's man or zone. I think I prefer man, just tradition, because you've got the horses to do it. You've got DJ James. You've got Pritchett back. You've got Kyan Lee. I mean, you've got all these dudes that can man up, I think, for 5 or 6 seconds on most situations. So, yeah, I'm cool with that. Then you just bring the house and you put as much stress on this offensive line as you possibly can. I think Auburn has the tools, Brad. I think Auburn has the tools.
You got to play with that reckless abandon defensively. You got a bye week next week. It does appear Zion Puckett, I mean, he's been practicing this week, and Donovan Kaufman's he's been practicing this week. Those guys they have the spatial awareness and the awareness to know we got a bye week. It's a rivalry game. We know what this is about, and we got to get home. When you send the pressure, you got to get home. Carson Beck is, I think, 3rd in the SEC in EPA against pressure, against a blitz. But Connor Wigman was 2nd at 51%, Beck's at 50%. And Auburn, when it got there, was able to affect Wigman last week in College Station. They didn't get the offense going until he was out of the ball game. So if you can get that, there were also a couple of times in that game where guys brought pressure, but either they started too late, or there was once where a guy just pulled up before he got there. He looked like he had time to get there, and he kind of pulled up. So
that's right.
You cannot do that. There has to be full motor the entire time when you're bringing pressure.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's move on to our buy-sell segment. And, of course, it's brought to you by our friend, Ross Kilpatrick. He's serving the Auburn area with locations in Auburn, Lake Martin, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. From Auburn to Lake Martin to Emerald Coast of Florida. Contact Ross Kilpatrick with Exit Realty Anchor South for all of your real estate needs. He's an Auburn guy, too, so he gets us. He gets us.
Yeah, he's intelligent because he sided with you on most of the picks last week, too.
That's right. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in just a second. All right. We buying or selling? Peyton Thorne over 60% completion percentage on Saturday.
Ooh. I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Yeah, and I'll tell you why.
Why? Yes, tell me.
I'll tell you why. Because if you're going to commit that much to the running game, then it will open up play action a whole lot more than what you had available to you against Texas A&M. And I think that in the passing game, you start with shorter easier passes to get him into a rhythm. And that may be your game plan. I mean, I know you're going to need, if you have the running game going, you can take chances more down the field. Yeah. But I just think the passing game plan, if you lean heavy on the run, the running back run game, then it will open things up in play action. And I also think you'll see passes to running backs to try to get one-on-one matchups on the edges. I think those are higher completable passes. And so I'll buy that.
All right. I'm selling it. If it was at 50%, I think I would buy it.
Okay.
Robbie Ashford plays 10 or more snaps on Saturday.
I buy that as well.
I do too.
I do. I think you have, again, it all goes back to committing to the running game and finding different ways to do it. You hit every gap, you hit both edges. You find every way to attack Georgia's defense in the ground game.
All right. Buy or sell. Auburn has a 100-yard rusher against Georgia.
All right. Does it happen or can it happen?
No, are you buy or selling it? Does it, if it happens or not? Are you going to buy that Auburn has a 100-yard rusher? Or are you selling?
I'll sell, but I think Jarquez gets close.
Okay.
I think Jarquez finally gets close to 20 carries. I think he's somewhere in the 15 to 20 range. I'd like to see him in the 20 to 25 range. I think this is the game where you do that. And if he gets 25 carries, I think he gets 100.
25. You think he gets over 15 carries?
No, that I don't think he gets 25. What I'm saying is if he gets got 25, he'd get there. I do. I think he gets between 15 and 19 carries.
Wow. If he gets between 15 and 19 carries, it's an absolute. I'm buying it regardless. But if you tell me if he gets 15 to 19 carries, I am on the phone with Ross right now saying, "Hey, I want this. Let's get straight to closing." You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Right. Buy or sell. Ross Kilpatrick of Exit Realty is the best in the biz.
Oh, 100% buy. I don't even have to. Yeah, like
no hesitation.
No hesitation. That's a buy.
I'm buying it too.
That's great.
Buy or sell. Auburn has a wide receiver, specifically wide receiver, with 5 catches on Saturday.
No,
Rivaldo doesn't count.
Sell.
I'm selling too.
I think the number of passes and the way that it's distributed will be too low for one receiver to get 5 catches.
If I opened it up to anyone, does that change your mind? Rivaldo or a running back?
No. I still think it's spread around. I think the leading receiver has 3 or 4. I think your running backs get more involved. They get more catches. So, nope, I would sell.
Who has more catches this weekend, receivers or running backs?
That's not a buy-sell question, Zach.
Okay. I know. I'm just asking you questions.
Okay.
I've got one more buy-sell. I don't want to rush it.
I'll go receivers barely. Barely receivers.
I think Brian Batty gets 5 catches. I'm buying it.
That's a lot of catches.
But it's not a receiver, so I guess I'm selling the statement.
Yeah.
Buy or sell. Georgia scores 28 points.
Sell.
Woo! Let's go.
I like the Auburn defense at home. Unless Georgia can start a whole lot faster, and if they can in that environment, God bless them. And I know they're getting better, and I know Carson Beck's getting more comfortable. But again, A&M was scoring 40 points a game when they came in. Or when they were playing at home last week, and they got to 27 because of a garbage run late in the ball game.
Yeah.
So, no, no.
Yeah. I'm selling it too, but I think that's around where they're going to get. I think they're going to get between 24 and 30. I mean, I think that's going to be the sweet spot. And it's like, can Auburn outpace that? My gut says no, but we'll see. The line's 14.5 for a reason, according to our friends at MyBookie. So that does it for this week's buy-sell. Once again, he's serving the Auburn area with locations in Auburn, Lake Martin, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Whether it's in Auburn, Lake Martin, the Emerald Coast of Florida, contact Ross Kilpatrick with Exit Realty Anchor South for all of your real estate needs. And of course, he says War Eagle.
No doubt. Thank you, Ross. You seriously, you guys need to call. That's another way you support this show, by the way, is by supporting the ones who sponsor this show.
That's right.
And you benefit from it as well, clearly. Speaking of benefiting, MyBookie. You've only got a few days left to take advantage of this. This will lead us into our Village Vice 6-pack. So for first deposits, you go to our friends at mybookie.ag. And for the remainder of this week and weekend, MyBookie is offering their biggest welcome offer ever, which is a 110% deposit match on your first deposit. 110% match on the first deposit. So you say, I feel really good about this weekend. I'm going to put $1,000 in. Well, you look at your account, all of a sudden it's not 1,000, it's 2,100. So you more than double your money before you ever place your first bet with our friends at MyBookie. Just go to mybookie.ag and use the promo code NEXTROUND. Got to use that promo code. It is exclusively through our show and the shows at Disrupt Media. You can only get it with the promo code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, from anywhere, only with MyBookie. Okay.
Six-pack time, baby. Let's go.
We have got, again, I love this time of year where every week you're going to have a ton of intriguing games to pick. And it actually starts on Friday. Number 10, Utah. 19th ranked Oregon State. Corvallis. Oregon State's a 3.5-point favorite at home.
Yeah.
Did the Utes take their first loss, or do the Beavers get it done?
Utah wins this game. Utah wins this game. I've said it the last few years. Utah is the most underrated football program in all of college football. They're 4-0 without their quarterback. I think they keep that trend going.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you right off the bat. And not just for the sake of conflict, but I like DJU, as they call him up there. Mike Reeser, the play-by-play guy, doesn't even try to get the name.
You're the only person like to ever say that, so that's great.
That's right. So there you are. Oregon State gets the win at home. Texas A&M and Arkansas in Arlington. A&M 6.5-point favorite. Max Johnson, the quarterback. No Connor Wegman out for the year. Hogs look good on the road in Baton Rouge last week. KJ Jefferson poise. Who do you like?
I like Texas A&M. I don't think Arkansas is very good. I said that going into the year. I think KJ Jefferson is the lone bright spot, and I think even at times he's looking a little bit inconsistent. I think he may be feeling a little bit of the pressure that was put on him all off season. So I'm going with Max Johnson. I thought A&M looked better with him. No offense to Connor Wegman, who reports coming out of College Station he's out for the year, which is awful. That stinks.
Yeah,
that stinks because he was really starting to ascend. But Max Johnson's he's a veteran guy. He's been in this conference for a long time. Seems like he and Bo Nix have been playing college football about the same amount of time, a very long time. But
since Space Jam came out.
I wouldn't know. But I'm going Texas A&M. You?
Right, I am too. Yeah, I think with a full week to prepare with Max Johnson, I like what Bobby Petrino and the staff can do.
Sure.
All right. Kentucky is a 1-point favorite at home against number 22 Florida. Florida looked pedestrian last week in a non-conference win. Kentucky off to a 4-0 start. Cats at home, yes. Gators on the road.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cats at home. I think Kentucky extends that to 3 straight years where they beat Florida, which would be historic for that program and what Stoops is doing up there. And look, I think Florida's ranked because they beat a Tennessee team that we thought was better at the time. And now, like, if they were to beat Tennessee, it'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. 2 middle of the SEC teams playing each other. So I think Florida's still a little overrated. I think they're a little bit better than what the nation saw in that opener against Utah.
Yeah.
But they're still there's 22 teams better than Florida in college football. I promise you that. And I think Kentucky's one of them.
Yeah, I struggle with this because Kentucky hasn't been close to tested. I mean, last week against Vanderbilt was it's the closest thing they've had to it. Akron's terrible. They've played Ball State. They played Eastern Kentucky. And then they put 45 up on Vandy. Florida will be the toughest team that they face. Florida can control the ball.
Sure.
I think I'm with you. Though at the end of the day, I don't like them enough to pick them, so I'll go Kentucky. 13th ranked LSU's at number 20, Ole Miss. LSU a 2.5-point favorite, according to our friends at MyBookie.
Yeah, give me LSU. Ole Miss is honoring their 2003 team that won nothing, but they're honoring them anyway. So good for them.
Quarterback by Eli Manning, and this was the week he could come. So
yeah, I guess so. Maybe the Manning cast isn't as long on Monday night or something. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I think LSU wins it when it's all said and done. I think they're the better team. I think they're better coached, and they've got the better quarterback.
Ole Miss's performance last week surprised me as much as Auburn's. If you had told me last weekend that Auburn and Ole Miss would combine for 20 points, I'd have never believed you.
Yeah.
So I think they showed real problems offensively. I don't think LSU is as consistent. I think LSU, I just don't know that Ole Miss is strong enough in the second half to push them around the way Florida State was able to do. I mean, they're not comparable. So, gosh, I guess we agree again. Man.
Yeah, I just think Ole Miss's defense stinks, and LSU may have. I mean, they may have one of the hottest quarterbacks in college football right now.
You're right. All right, I know we'll disagree on the last one, so let's get to next to last. Here's number 5 in our Village Vice six-pack. 11th ranked Notre Dame at number 17, Duke. Game day's there, but Notre Dame's a 5.5-point favorite. Do you like the Irish, the Fighting Catholics, or the Blue Devils?
You know we're going to disagree?
On the last one, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I'm taking Notre Dame here.
You're going Notre Dame. You're not a believer in Duke yet.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm going Notre Dame.
All right, we disagree on that one too. Duke is the, I think, 4th best team in the country on defending passes downfield. That defense is tough. I think that defense is legit, especially for that league. And I think Notre Dame, coming off the huge letdown at home against Ohio State last week, no way can they get back. I think it'd be very difficult.
You think that beats them twice?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it beats them twice.
Yeah, I think they bounce back because of it. They've got veteran leadership there. They've got a young head coach that's fiery. I think it's going to get them pumped up. So
that's true. They do have that.
Yeah, I'm taking the Irish, but I see where you're coming from. Sure.
Not going to be enough for them to win, but they do have that. So
got it.
All right, number 1, Georgia. They haven't lost since we were all in masks. Auburn, Jordan Hare. 14.5 is the line for the Bulldogs. Go ahead.
Yeah, Georgia wins. I think Auburn does cover though.
Okay. I will never on this show, let me take the drama out of it. I will never on the show pick Auburn to lose.
Okay.
I never will.
You're a company man.
And in this, I'm also I'm also a dumb fan sometimes. Okay.
Hey, we can bug here. There's nothing wrong with that.
But I believe in the defense.
Yeah.
I think they're healthy enough. And I think that if the game plan is committed, now, hey guys, it's going to be rocky at times when you're really trying to sell the running game. It's going to be going through Atlanta rush hour traffic on a Friday afternoon. You're going to get where you're trying to go, but there are going to be times it's slow and frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get there if you'll just hang on. Don't veer off and take this road or that road. Just stay through it. You'll get there. And I think the defense can force a turnover, give Auburn a short field. I think Brian Battie, this is what I said against Texas A&M. He just didn't get the chance. I think Brian Battie can give you a couple of first downs in the kick return game. And I like a game where both teams are in the teens. I like some silly final score of like 19-14 or 19-17. Neither team gets to 20, and it's a big banner benchmark day for Auburn.
I hope you're right.
There you go.
I hope you're right.
Me too.
Everyone have a great weekend of football. We'll be back, I guess, Sunday night, even though it's the bye week. We still want to talk about it, right? So we'll be here on Sunday. Absolutely. Be sure to check that out. And in the meantime, Brad, that's it for today.
Yes, it will. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember, everyone has vices. Make sure Village Vice is one of yours.